Hi, Kuma. I'm still setting up some stuff on my model. Hi, Amber. Hi, Morgan. Hi, Gozi. Hi, Colo. Hi, Grim. I'm still setting things up, guys. I'm just setting some things up. I'll be there in a second, guys. Sorry.
5 months with this fox and yet it's felt like only one. So proud of seeing you grow so much in such a short time. Keep it up, make its heart kiss tails.
Thank you, Morgan. That's really sweet of you. Take my time. I will. Hi, Thurston. What's up, homie? Let's see. No, 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 mom. I like this song. You guys like this song?
So I'm technically older than this. May I'm getting old help.
Song! You're going to jail. I'm sorry. Thank you. Does this work? Oh, I think my jacket talk would work. God damn it. Now if I do this though, shocked. Okay. Guys, my model might look a little bit weird, by the way. I had some updates, like basically just now. So into pieces. This is my last resort. Blah, suffocation, no breathing, don't give a frick. Basically, it's just the fixes that we had a while ago. Val fixed a lot of things in the model. There's some stuff that I wanted fixed that I wasn't using because it just wasn't working right. So we have that now. So. Na 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 na. Alright, I'll let people know I'm live now. My stuff's a little bit fucked up. At stream time. At Flimpies. Late night. I'm good, tech, dude. I had a fun time the other night when I was drunk. I have something special set up for you guys. Sorry for being late today, chat. I ran into a lot of tech issues today. I also wasn't originally gonna stream, but I was like, I probably should. I probably should. So I'm streaming. I have a busy week this week though, so I might take tomorrow off. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out. am I looking for? Is this not in here? Val added this in. Hold on. Am I stupid? Oh, there it is. Awesome. Boy. This is my last resort. Suffocation. No breathing. Don't give a fuck if I come out. Whoa.
I was just at Henya's stream and she said to pass these free bits.
That's not true. That's not how anything. That's not true. That's not true. Why you lying, huh? Why you lying, huh? You smell. Hi, Moisty. I'm going to sleep soon. I'm sorry. My apologies. My model broke, and then my other stuff broke. My other stuff broke, and then you know, yeah. It's been a morning, chat. It's been a morning. I'm gonna skip the cool intro button because I'm late. I don't want to hit that right now. What's up? Hi. Hi. My model's gonna look a little weird. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. It's an updated one. Small stuff. Small fixes. You guys might notice them. Maybe. Who knows? Valerie did a bunch of things. So we'll see. We'll see if you guys notice any of them. But you know, hey, it looks the same to me. It's all subtle stuff. Blur, I just started stream. Blur, listen. I'm gonna treat you right. I'm gonna treat you right. Okay. Was the mole always there? The mole's always there. Hi, Blur. How are you? How are your blur? How are your blur nanas? No, it's just some fixes. So the hood, I don't know if you guys ever noticed the hood. It actually is dark on the inside now. It's actually like has a bottom to it. There's some small physics changes. The jacket can do this now. I could do it before, but now it's like proper. Now it works. So I can have just my poncho, which makes me look like I look really tiny when I'm like this, right? Oh, this also fixes some of the issues too with it. Did you guys know that there's supposed to be cutouts in the back of this thing? I bet you didn't, because you never get to see this, but that's there. Look. That's there. I look like a super villain like this. I look like a super villain when I'm like this. Besides that, there's like some physics stuff. Nothing major. Nothing major. Hi, Blair. How was your stream? What are you doing today? What are you doing today? Blur. Flavors. Actually, what does your name mean, Blur? Now that you're here, what does your name mean? Why is it Blur Flavors? What does that mean? Here, I'm gonna go evil, chat. Let's become evil. I was repoing. That's awesome. What are you doing on repo, huh? Everyone's playing that fucking game. People keep inviting me to play repo, and I'm like, God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. I won't lie, I stopped just for the belly button. Well, here you go. I'll give you a little treat, okay? How's this? This is a good belly button for you? My belly button has it has a lot of detail. I have like skin details. You know, it's rendered really well. It's rendered really well. So, you know, people see my belly and they're like, "Damn." See, listen. I like tummy. I like tummy. So, my tummy is it's basically like soft enough. It's soft enough, you know. It's a soft tummy. I have a lot of cultured parts this model that are for me. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, so I usually stream like this when I'm on my full venue thingy. Yeah, you can poke it, but if you poke it, you're gonna lose a finger. You're gonna lose a finger. We had small. I can tell you guys the changes. Hold on. Val gave them to me. Hold on. Val said... Oh, added shadow to lower hoodie behind to emulate shoulders / nape. So your head doesn't look like it's floating. Big shadow clipping when I turn off the shadow mesh. I don't know what that means. When I turn off the chest mesh, which is this stuff. So apparently there was like some clipping or something. Do these look different to you guys? Do these look different? Is this, you know what, actually, I see the issue. I see the issue. I see how he fixed it. Yeah, no. I mean, I don't think these look that different, but I understand now. Oh my, I'm sorry. This is the one part of my model that people don't see because it's like so fucking detailed. It's so detailed, like the way it's rigged, it like bothers me sometimes, you know? It's like, damn. Damn, I got a whole ass collarbone and everything. Wait, can I still... Oh. I have the wrong toggle for that one. I have the wrong toggle for them. I have to fix that one. I look like a fucking pirate. I look like a space pirate. I have to fix that. I don't know why it does that one. Oops. Thank you. Let me fix this, okay? I'm not stripping. I'm not stripping. It's natural course of nature. How is... Okay, save. Let's go to hoodie. I will not bow. No, 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 no. Why is this not... Am I stupid? Hood. Up? Let me look up. Jackets? What am I, fucking stupid? This isn't right. What am I, fucking stupid? Alright, I'll just not worry about that for now. Don't answer that question. Don't please. What happened to my eye? Nothing, it looks cool. Can a girl pretend to, like... Can a girl be chuny? Huh? Can I be, like, pretend cool for once in my fucking life, please? Listen, chat. No? Why not? Why not? Well, frick you. Oh my gosh. I'm a little tired. Not tired. Worn out from last night. I was convinced to stream today because people are like, "Thought you're gonna stream this?" And I'm like, it's okay. I'll probably take tomorrow off instead. Maybe. I did do a lot last night. I did. Yeah, you guys, I don't know. I drank a lot last night. How many gigs of Skyrim? Oh, I downloaded 500 gigs of Skyrim. Do you guys want to see it? Hold on, I can just press this button. Hold on. So I was a little worried about how this was gonna be. There is no nudity. I quadruple checked, but every woman in this game looks like a porn star. I tried to make mine not look like a porn star, but then I realized, why does she look anorexic? Like, girl, this is too thin. But you wanna, we're gonna ball with it. But I do have this in the background, and it does work. It does work. Oh my god, chat, it's crazy detailed. It's so fucking cool. There is no nudity. I had to quadruple check. Because I was like, dude, what if they, cause like, I just have PTSD from the time and I'm blank. Guys, you guys know the story? You guys know the story? I was playing Oblivion and there's this combat mod that I had as a kid. And it was like some like cool combat mod. It added like better dismemberment, like combat, all that sort of stuff, right? And so I go and I go to get this like fucking like mod, and I'm playing it on my chat, and I kill a bandit. I'm like, all I want is armor, right? I strip his armor. Right? And I I paused my game and I said, what the fuck is that? And my chat didn't know what I was talking about. They didn't see it. I put my model in front of the screen. I looked. The fucking like mod I got that added the dismemberment and stuff. It added penises. It added penises and vaginas. Why? Why? So I looked it up, and apparently it just uses that because the models need it to work or something. And I'm like, why are you gooners like sneaking this shit in, man? And that's crazy, right? It was fully unrelated to the mod. Hold on, look this up, okay? Hold on. Oblivion combat mod, okay? Let's see. I'm trying to remember. It was like, oh yeah. It was called, I think it was Deadly Reflex. I think it was called Deadly Reflex, okay? Yeah, Deadly Reflex. Okay? And it's nowhere in the description. Okay? And it's just, and it said, I'm reading an old forum on GameSAS.com. No, Sky Captain said the body mods included in the mod were just an accident. So, like, what the fuck, right? It was probably the same mod stun. So I was worried, right? I was worried, and I am gonna avoid this a little bit because it's kind of goonery, but there is no nudity. So if I take off her top, like, she don't got her nip knobs out. Okay, I checked. Oh, I gotta start this. Hold on. I checked. Okay. What the fuck's going on? Oh, okay. See, there is no nudity. I checked. So we're good. I triple checked. The reason I triple checked, chat, okay, was the mods that I installed, okay, it is never nude, so there's no nudity. However, I was surprised by the the amount of special options in the customizer, such as areola size, areola width, nipple length, and I guess like people download this mod for like the extra customization features. I guess it is roleplay, but why do I need a thing like in my role-playing game to check how fat my pussy is? And why is there 6 genital options? Am I like, what the fuck is that? There's 6. I'm not talking about 6 different options, Tat. I'm talking about 6 different slots for 6 different genitals. Genitals 1 through 6. And I was concerned because I'm like, first of all, what the fuck are people doing? All those settings did nothing. Okay? I checked. I made sure. So my Skyrim looks clean. It feels clean. I did like an hour of testing. I killed some random Nord in a village and took his clothes off, and he had his boxers on. He had his loincloth boxers on. So I had to make sure, right? But I only checked the humans. So if we get a naked lizard, not my fault. Do we know? Has anyone read the Lusty Argonian main? Do Argonians have like? Oh hell yeah! We'll get that Bert. Sure. I don't know what that Bert means. Sure. I don't know what that burp means. Can we get actually? Can someone make something like that, but with my like a gamer subs cup? Gamer subs burp. Hi, Alex. I missed you guys. You saw me yesterday. What do you mean you missed me? That's so sweet of you. Argonian milk? You think so? Make the drink yellow. Piss burp. Please don't make piss burp. Please don't. We don't want piss burp. Listen, don't. Bert's a pure creature, okay? I couldn't hear a single fucking thing you said. I couldn't hear. You didn't say anything to me. I guess not. I know. Wait, no, this is the word. I don't know. Whatever. Oh. There he is. Awesome. Bert's pure. He's a pure boy. Well, jerking off is not a bad thing, right? I will listen. You know, I as somebody who watches streamers that partake in certain activities, I would be wrong to say that jerking off is bad, right? I would be wrong to say that. Like motherfucker, right? No problem, Sock. Take your time. You guys want to just hop into Skyrim in a little bit? Like right now? Oh. I'm kind of curious. I've been sitting on this for a while in the background. But this is my character. Okay, I tried to make her cool. I gave her horns. I don't know. I was trying to think of what to do. Have I been practicing the burps? No, I have alcohol in my tummy still from yesterday. Chat, when I told you guys I wouldn't wake up hungover, and I lied to you. I lied to you. I absolutely woke up hungover. I absolutely woke up hungover. Also, I don't really hear anything in the game. I'm just gonna... Jesus Christ! Just turn it up, man. Is that better? Okay, that is better. Alright, chat, listen. I did some tests. I'm actually amazed how well it runs on stream. I just want you guys to know that. Why is there a specific option for werewolf breath? I think it's because when you're in the werewolf mode, you're like, hold on, should we... You guys want music? You guys want music when we're playing this? Hardcover, thank you. You don't gotta give me bid stuff. That's too much. Thank you. You guys want my music or in-game music? Because I'll play music over this. I'll get some like cool shit. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Skyrim music in-game. Your music. Skyrim music in-game. It's like in-game's winning, chat. All right, we'll do that. I don't think this has much new music, in-game music. My music. There you go. How's that poll?
Just so you are aware, bits are free.
No, they're not. Bits are not free. Bits are not the supermarket playlist. Hold on. Yeah, we can let's get the supermarket playlist up. That's a good idea, actually. Hold on, I'm just gonna click the play button. That took us on an adventure last time, right? Let's see that again. That's a good yeah. All right, chat. So now I'm curious with you guys. Okay, let me turn off the settings in here. The only problem turning off the music in Skyrim poses is I'm not gonna know I'm getting jumped. But that's okay. That's okay. So chat, this uses.
Shit. Here we go again.
I have to choose a new life. It's a complete overhaul, this mod pack, so it's pretty incredible. I was attacked by a dragon. I don't know what I want to do.
Granny Henya told me bits are free, so here you go.
That's not true. That's not true. They're only free for Henya, man. I don't know. Wait, I'm an addict and a skooma. Is that an option?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Why did I hear that? Why did that? I think I gotta fix that again. There you go. I just heard, oh shit, here we go again. Why did that play? Why did you guys play that? Skooma, you guys wanna be a skooma addict? Chat, come on. I mean, I can give you guys, are you guys sure you wanna be?
Here we go again. Oh shit. Here we go again. Oh shit. Here we go again.
Fine. No. Okay. Where's? We can do the skooma. You want? Do you want to be an addict? You want to be an addict? Okay. I'm an addict in a skooma. A skooma den. Cool. Awesome. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what I'm gonna wake up to. All these options bring you somewhere different. They bring you somewhere different. Is this?
Hold it. If you're going downstairs, you keep your weapons to yourself, or we'll be getting better acquainted.
Okay, thank you. Oh, cool.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Cool, I get to pick my some skills. And the first one's addict. Yeah, I guess that we have to pick that one. That one's an addict gambler. Wait, what do these do? What do these do? I want some of these to make sense for me. Is this a remastered? This is a 4,249 mod list. It's not Skyrim. It's not Skyrim, but it is Skyrim. Skyrim. It's not. Wait, go back. I want my traits. Sorry, I alt tabbed it. Okay, I guess we'll get addict. Wait, chat, that sucks. Chat, that sucks. I don't want this. I don't want a 25% chance to get staggered when hit. I don't want that. I don't want that. That's awful. So I mean, I'll let you guys be the voice in here. Okay, I'll just be drinking. Okay, this is the start. Okay. Is there more alcohol believing ones too? Adrenaline rush. I mean, there's so many traits here. There's a lot here. Okay. Jesus Christ. Breathe underwater? I don't like that. Ooh. Oh. Damn, that sucks. I mean... Which are my potions are 20% more effective. You can only benefit... I don't know, guys. That sounds like it's gonna nerf me. This is... Reading books? Oh, God. Oh, you know, that sounds good. I can be a drunken, addicted rage. So, this sounds good. That sounds good, right? Rage in the addict. So we can be a rage-induced addict. So that's good.
And behave yourself.
Thank you, Hawkmall. I don't know where I am. I'm trying to... Do I have clothes? Oh, good. I have clothes. Okay, that's good. I have a cowl. Which doesn't appear in my head for some reason. I wish it did. But I guess, you know, I got work boots too. Okay, I guess I'm going in, guys. I don't... Is this a skooma den? I'm gonna say it, guys. I need to turn the game up even more. This is so quiet for some reason.
This area makes me think of things like the rich guy there that calls you over for some fun Kitsrika, or the haze in the air Kitsrika.
Did you see the blood on the walls? I don't think this is the type of place you want to be in. I don't think this is a homey place, guys. There's like blood all over the walls. This is a drug den. What are you talking about? It's quite literally. I can hear people coughing. Are you on skooma? He's got the skooma lean, dude. He's going fucking crazy with it. I don't.
Hi there.
What's going on? I could adopt. I am not adopting this child. What is going on? I'm just. Should we leave? I don't feel safe in a skooma den, chat. Oh, empty skooma. Okay, yeah, they're on skooma. Hey, how's this skooma?
You there! Bring me another bottle of skooma. Wait,
No, I'm good. Goodbye. Where am I?
you look like fun.
Can I take this? I can take these. Yeah, sure. Give me this too. What's going on?
Oh, welcome. Welcome. I don't believe we've seen
I'm not
you here
adopting the
before, have we?
child.
Fine.
I'm not adopting the child. Do I have money? Let's buy some skooma. What did I do? Did I accidentally? I think I accidentally stole something. I think I accidentally just stole something. Hold on. I think I stole something. I think I accidentally picked up this.
Oh, welcome. Welcome. I don't believe we've seen you here before, have we?
What have you
Take a
got for
look.
sale? Oh, perfect. I would like one skooma. Oh, chat, I can't buy this. Guys, I can't buy. I don't have enough on me. Hold on, I can sell something. Chat, I don't have enough to buy skooma. I'm sorry, I can't buy any skooma. Goodbye.
Enjoy some of our Redwater skooma before we leave.
What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on, chat? How the fuck do I get out of here? Oh, over here. Okay. Goodbye, guys. I'll come back later for some skooma. Thank you so much for the. Let's take a step outside. You know, I need a breather. What the fuck is going on? If I knew.
What the fuck is going on, kids talking?
If I knew, I could tell you. Wow, the game looks beautiful, chat. Can I just say that? Looks absolutely astounding. Most denizens of Tamriel are religious. What does Akatosh do? God of Time? Father of Dragons. Okay. Okay. Lord of Life? Slay the Undead. Well, Dibella? I don't think we're gonna be doing Dibella. I don't think we're gonna be doing Dibella. Magnus? Oh, magic! Oh, well, I mean, I could become like a religious wizard. I can become like a religious wizard. I'm trying to figure out my class. Like, I could become a cleric. I can become a cleric. I can become a cleric. Well, let me just say model, guys. Give me a second, because it's not moving as much as I like it to. Let me fix it up. Sorry, there's a bunch of things that changed on it recently. And I lost half my stuff today. I almost didn't stream out of anger, but I'm like, you know what? I want to stream. I should stream. All right, let's turn this up. Turn this bad boy up. There we go. That's the movement you guys are used to seeing. New Bert and Gen Chat. Let's see. Stream suggestions. Where's the Bert? Where's the Bert? Where's the Bert and Jen? God damn it. Is this even Bert sized? You guys have to put it. You guys, listen, you guys have to upload this one, okay? I'll see if it lets me upload, okay? I'll see if it lets me skooma Bert. Does it work? Oh my god, it fucking worked. Okay. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Who's Ma? What's Ma do? Be married? Oh no. No. Okay. What the fuck is... Do I need a god? Do I need a god? Do I pray to God? I pray to God. Wait. Ooh. I'll do this one. I can be, you know, I can be like Bert and go get my college degree, my PhD. This is good. This is good, right? I can get my PhD. Like just like Bert. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. This don't even look like fucking Skyrim no more. I don't know what the fuck I'm playing. I don't even... I like... Does this look like Skyrim to you guys? If I told you guys... If I didn't tell you guys this was Skyrim, what would you know? What does this look like to you? Because this is fucking with me. I don't know where I am. That's how much it fucks with me. Fallout 76. I think this looks clear. Do I have a map? Oh, fuck me. They changed the map. It's paper. We got a paper fucking map here. Okay. Well, cool. Now it really looks 76. I mean, do I just go off on it? I guess we'll walk around, chat. This is the true RPG experience. I missed the 3D map. Why'd you change that on me? You know, knowing this... Oh, there's a boat. Wait, the boat's actually fucking sailing? What is going on? If Elder Scrolls 6 don't look and amaze me like this, I'm gonna be disappointed, chat. Is that there's a hawk. I just saw it. Where's the hawk? I just saw the shadow of the hawk. I can't... Oh, there it is. That's a big fucking hawk. What the fuck? A hawk too. This is gonna be good, chat. This is gonna be good. It's still Skyrim. It's still Skyrim. Hey, can I hop on your boat? They got working boat. What's going on?
Take a look.
Raw clam meat. I'm good.
Until next time.
He's got a fucking... Look at the husky. Cute. Is this Peanut?
Good dog.
Good dog. Goodbye. This guy's just on a boat. Does this drive? Can I drive this thing? I don't know what's going on here. Don't hop off the boat, big man. I need to get out of here. This hawk is bothering me. Chat. Where should we go? Okay, there's a wolf over there. Let's go this way. This is not Skyrim. No, it's definitely still Skyrim, chat. It's got 4,000 mods in it, right? It's still definitely Skyrim, right? I don't like what I'm seeing. What is? Can I kill whatever this is? I need XP, right? What are you? Oh no, it's a fox. I can't kill him. We need to go to a pub. Good idea, to get drunk. Now, if I remember correctly, which I don't, we can take this path here and then go to Riverwood right here. Right here. Let's go to Riverwood. Let's start it easy, chat. Let's start it easy. Let's go to Riverwood. Correct. Thank you. What the fuck is this thing? What am I holding? I don't know. I just hit it with the fucking hand of God. I don't know what the fuck happened. I didn't bleed so much. I don't know. I did it, chat. Oh, a bird's nest. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. Give me an egg. There is hunger mechanics in this chat, so I will need to eat eventually. The fuck was that? Was that a dragon? All I see is a hawk. I don't know what the chat. This is scary. This is gonna be fun. This is a good adventure. I feel like we chose the worst start, chat. I want you guys to know, okay? All the other starts gave you starting weapons in gear. Oh, please don't. Please, Mr. Whoop, I got nothing. I'm leaving. I'm backing up. I'm backing up, home dog. Okay, that's your turf. I get it. I ain't going over. That's your turf. My bad. All the other things gave me stuff to start with. I mean, I do have a quest. Should I go back to the skooma den and maybe like see what I can do in there? Should I go back to the skooma den, you guys? Like I mean, what's gonna happen? Right? This sounds okay? I should reflect on my newfound experience. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Thanks, game. How do I get back there? Sure. I need maybe I can sweet talk somebody. You know, who knows? I don't recognize any of this. I don't know where the fuck I am. They changed the game so much that I feel like I'm playing a different game. This doesn't feel like Skyrim to me. I feel like this is Elder Scrolls 6, you guys. This is Elder Scrolls 6. What's up?
Look, I'm just here to keep watch. What you're looking for is down inside.
Gotcha. Thanks, big man.
I got nothing on me. If you're looking for skooma, head on downstairs.
Thank you. Why is everything covered in blood?
Get away from me.
Fuck you, bitch. I got a weapon. I got a weapon. I got a weapon and I got an addiction. I mean, I have an axe now, chat. I just should have. What do I want to work in? You know what I'm saying? Chat, what class should I do? There's a lot of different classes in this. Why am I on fire? What does that mean? Is there temperature in this? I don't like how there's like blood everywhere. I really don't like this place. It's got like smoke coming from the walls. There's
And what might you need?
I don't know. Can I go over here? I probably shouldn't. Hey. Okay. I don't think I can do with anything to them. You take 3d6 fire damage. This is part of the vampire DLC. I see.
Intense. Join a booth and relax.
How about a sample?
Since it's your first time. Sure.
Oh,
Find a booth
awesome.
and enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you. They're getting me hooked on this shit. They're getting me hooked on this shit. Let me take a little sip. Oh. That's the shit, chat. I'm gonna have to come back here, dude. What's going on?
That's the last of them. Horsehods can't resist after they get a taste of your ghost skooma.
Fuck! They're taking me to prison.
Makes the skooma so much more potent. We'll have all the thralls whenever needed. Good thing the boss heard that old farmer running his mouth off in the tavern.
This dude's dead. Huh? Did the quest break? I think the quest broke there, chat. Or maybe this has a high difficulty, so am I not high enough level? Is that supposed to happen? Is that supposed to happen? Or did I get my ass beat? Oh. Yeah, there's no scaling. Is that supposed to happen? I'm guessing that's supposed to happen, and they were supposed to beat my ass. I don't know what level they were. That might be a problem. Yeah, I mean, I did get something out of this though, chat. I did get a dark war axe, so that's good. We can hit something with this. We upgrades, people. Upgrades. Maybe try it again. Am I supposed to riz my way out of that? I did move. I wasn't sure. Maybe I moved and I wasn't supposed to. I don't understand. Good night, Metrion. Sleep well. I'm armed and dangerous. Armor also matters, chat. There's this mod called Requiem. And it adds a bunch of shit. It adds a... Hey, give me my...
You seem tense.
Give me a sample.
Fine. Sure. Find a booth.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to have... Oh. I drank the wrong potion. There's my scuba. Give me a sip. That's the good shit. Gets Haruka's hat on the wall. Chop it straight off him.
Swords can't resist after they get a taste of your dose of skooma.
The water from the spring.
Yeah, I don't think I can do this yet.
We'll have all the thralls.
Are they supposed to attack you?
Good thing
I'm gonna stay still.
Farmer running his mouth off in the tavern about finding this place.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is supposed to happen. This guy's level 43, chat. I don't think... Was that a hot dog bottle? What? I think the game's glitched it out. I apparently have a skooma bottle. I'm a bottle of skooma. Let's get rid of load is safe. Did I open the door? No, I didn't. I just think it's programmed that way. I don't know how that quest works. So we're gonna leave, chat. You know, this is the journey of a skooma addict. All right, we took our skooma. We're gonna get the fuck out. This is gonna be awful, chat. This is gonna be so fucking awful. We have to, cause there's no level scaling, so we have to go to like a properly leveled area. I guess it depends. Let's just go on a journey. Let's do our original journey, chat. Let's journey to where is that? It's not Isengard. I think Isengard is from Lord of the Rings. Look, guys, it's Haruka. Bye, Haruka. I'll miss her. We're just gonna travel that way. It's gonna take us 945 seconds there. The cutscenes from the Vampire DLC, I might be missing some prerequisites. We'll see. I heard this is very, very well put together. So who knows? You know, who knows? We'll have to see. Ow. For now, though, May can take a little adventure. Why do they got... My only complaint about all these, like, Skyrim mods is why they gotta make the females, like, look like fucking, like AAA fucking models, and the males look like they're balding, like, cancer patients. I genuinely do not understand, like, the difference between... I'm hungry. Let's go eat something. I don't understand it, you know? Let's eat some cheese, child. Let's eat some cheese and apples. There we go. Helgen? We'll check. Let's go to Helgen. Because guys make the mods. I've tended to notice that. And like the ones that have like no not safe for work in them, like the big mod list, still have that mod. What the fuck is that? They still got the mod in there, but it's like to make things look pretty. Do guys like playing as girls? Hey, a bunny, come here. I need food. I'll beat your ass, motherfucker. There we go. That's right. Oh, I skinned it. Girls are perverts too. Yeah, but guys like, I just want to know if guys want to be cute, you know? I feel like there's bandits in this camp. My only thing is, chat, what class should I play? Is that bird so fucking big? What should I do? There's a lot of different classes that you can build in this. You know? Do I have skills to start off with? Oh, I do. There's a lot of stuff. Stealth Archer, actually, I heard that they balanced Stealth Archer in this. I don't want to play Stealth Archer. I want to do something. I could be mage. I could be a mage. I could be... They actually have a couple of classes they made in this. They have a paladin class, and they have this thing, which is like... It's called a dark knife or whatever, something like that. And it's like a vampire-specific class. There's... Oh! Oh, cool! Okay, I do get to do this. Okay, awesome. Well, that's good. The other classes had to do this, but earlier, chat. So I get to pick starting gear. The other classes had this too. I guess the skooma addict has to travel into the wild for a little bit. I don't know what to pick. What should I do? What weapons are there? There's chat. There's a lot of weapons. Mamma mia. Was that a troll? Chat, don't say that. Don't say that. We're fine. Can I get skooma? Is that possible? Can I start with just skooma? No, I can't get skooma. I can be a wizard. I can be a wizard. I just don't know why I should start. I can be... Do they got like hidden hands? They got gloves? Should be a puncher guy. Skooma was there. Well, I don't... Listen, we gotta do something, you guys. We gotta get something. You know what I'm saying? This is Fent Wizard. Fent Wizard. Staff of Destruction. Okay. I mean, I can be like, we can be a skooma wizard. Well, I'll get that. Sure. And then we'll get destruction robes because we're destroying our lives and the people around us just to get our drugs. And you said skooma was in here? I don't see skooma, chat. Skooma. Hey, go back. How did I do that? What the fuck did I just press? Stop. What is happening? What is... what... Okay, yeah, give me those. Yeah. Awesome. Give me those gloves. Give me this too. Jewelry? Yeah, we'll get the circlet of magica. Sure. Weapons. I want a staff of destruction. I want a staff of destruction. Staff of destruction, please. Because I'm destroying my life. That was staff of I got the... Let's get this one too. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. As for that, let's look up skooma again. No, what is that? What is that? Stop. How do I get rid of this on the... What is this? How do I... File? Exit. Don't hit hotkeys. There's... You guys lied to me. Stop. I don't want this. I'm trying to hit backspace. There's no skooma in here. If I press K, that happened. Oh, there's skooma. Well. Yeah. Awesome. The skooma wizard. The drug-addicted wizard. Awesome. Cool. Oh, I wasted a bunch of points. That's okay. Awesome. Let's take some skooma, chat, to get us hyped up. There we go. Awesome. I love skooma. So... Oh, I'm getting that skooma lean in on me. That's good. That's good. Okay, awesome. Do I just wait here till it wears off? That skooma lean's crazy, by the way, guys. Oh, it's wearing off. Good, it's wearing off. That's good. Or is it kicking in? Instead of playing shit chat, what the fuck is happening? Wow. That's good. I think it's kicking in. Yeah, I mean, new skooma, we have Jetbert. Did you just make this? All right, oh, there we go. Awesome. Wow, what a high. God, that was good. I feel invigorated after that. I like how there's pole vaulting in this game. I also saw a very big explosion up here before I passed out. Maybe that was just skooma? Maybe that was just the skooma kicking in? You guys saw that too, right? Awesome. All right, back to our journey, chat. I think we need more. You guys want me? Let's spend some skill points first, chat. I think we'll be a wizard of destruction because I'm destroying my life. You know? Oh, awesome. And I get a tome. Of course. Hailstone. Lightning touch. Choking grasp. Emperor Palpatine. That's an Emperor Palpatine move. Elemental flame. Oh. Huh. Unbound fire. Okay. Yeah, I like this one. Oh, I can get a couple? Okay, I can pick two. Let's get Unbound Fire. And then Beam? Did I see Beam? Where's that beam? Do you see the beam? Arcane Beam? Yeah, let's get that. Awesome. Where's that magic? Well, I gotta use it first, right? That makes sense, chat. See? Yeah, 2 hours of studying. Awesome. I'm tired and cold. That's okay. Awesome. Awesome, chat. I learned Arcane Beam. Ow. This will be a fun time. Can you turn on magic in particular? Is that like a that is not okay? We're just gonna turn down effects and hope that helps a little bit. Why is this addict out of breath all this so damn time? Chat, it's because I'm an addict, a skooma addict. I'll study 2 hours. Do you actually sit here and study for 2 hours like this? I didn't get my Zaza, no. Oh no, I wasn't supposed to do it. I just wasted time. Awesome. Okay. Now if I press, hold on. How do I favorite? Okay, there's a favorite menu. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. I want my staff back. Oh. Wait, what? Stop. Is there a way to reverse the hands so when I click right, it's my right hand and my... Is that an option? I never understood why Skyrim's like that. It pisses me off. Well, that's good, chat. Key binding? Maybe. Oh, hold on. Guys, there's a bear. Oh my god. I was caught off guard. I think you die and then you respawn in a camp somewhere, apparently. Supposedly. Oh. There's my dead body. Awesome, we're back into prison. Yeah, I might have to restart chat because this is like a high level dungeon that they put you in. Let's just, right here. Yeah, I don't know why it's like that. Dominant click equal dominant hand. I'm left-handed. I'm left-handed. All right, I can rebind it. Hold on. What the fuck is it? Okay, left hand. Guys, it won't let me use my mouse. No, don't say don't save that. Oh fucking, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh, I can't, how do I, what was my click, what was my left click again, chat? What did I bind escape to? Oh god, okay, so L opens that up, okay. Where's the left hand? Left click. Why? Why do you do this to me? No. Stop. It doesn't want your mouse. It doesn't want your mouse. Oh, I can just, okay, let's just set it to defaults. Hold on. Wait, would I just rebind that to? No, what did I just rebind that to? Okay, K. T. Yes. Guys, I guess we are, I guess we're just gonna have to stick with the opposite hands. That's okay. What the fuck killed this pheasant? I'm mortified. What the fuck did this, dude? Oh god, I guess we should take the road there. What's the... this way. Hey.
If you know any true sons and daughters of Skyrim, tell them to head to Windhelm.
Oh.
Ulfric's...
Like a story? It's like a story? Awesome. Okay, let's take the path, chat, because we all know there's no scary monsters on the path. Nothing bad ever happens to you when you take the path. I don't know why it goes black screen every time you loot the pelt. Are these frozen? Oh my god, oh my god, wait a second. Hold on, does this one have that too? Fuck, it tripped. Chat, this is gonna be a journey. This is gonna be a journey. This is gonna be a fucking journey. Oh god, I need to get high for this. Amazing. I'm surprised it's running well. I don't even know where the fuck I am. Okay, there's a fork in the road. This is I'm glad you guys are having fun with this. I was like, fuck. Staphis Destructus. No? What's this do? Oh, it's on enchanted. It just looks cool. Okay. No, that just looks cool, chat. That doesn't do anything. It just looks cool. It's on enchanted. I guess we'll just have our magic out. Oh, fuck. I didn't learn the books. Hold on. Wait, I didn't level up either. Oh, shit. Okay, destruction. Yes, I want this. Let me get, elemental flare. No, let's get arcane beam again. And let's get Unbound Fire. I like those. I like those. And I think I still have points, right? Yeah. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. What does Conjuration do? I don't give a fuck. What are custom skills? Destiny. What? Okay. This is too much. Wait, is this like the skill trees? Hold on. Oh, it is. Okay, this is how you pick your skills. Interesting. Interesting. Nightblade. That's one I saw. Is there like a wizard of like darkness? Like an evil wizard of darkness of explosions? I feel like Archmage. Archmage? I said the fucked up. Blood Midnight. Ooh. Nah, we don't need that beta shit, chat. We're full destruction spells. 2 hours. Fuck was that? I do like this. This is pretty entertaining. I feel this is pretty good. I have to take out this wolf though, chat. I don't know how I'm supposed to do that, so I'm just like, I'm gearing up. I'm gearing up. And he appears to be my first challenge. He's in the path of the road. However, I'm assuming I can take him at level 1. Let's put Unbound Fire in both hands. Okay, this is a combination. Hold on. Awesome. That is so loud for no fucking reason. Please, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, please. What the fuck is this stupid fucking game? Obviously, I just didn't take that encounter serious enough, chat. Obviously, I was supposed to do this. See, that's what we're supposed to do. Like that. I almost died. I almost died, but we did it, chat. We did it. Are you guys proud of me? I don't even have a health potion. Are you guys proud of me? I'm peckish. And I'm tired, so I can't even run, chat. Let's eat some apples, some meat. Let's drink a beer. Let's drink a beer. There you go. Happy. Can I cook here? Awesome. Jesus Christ, chat. Good job. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised this isn't breaking more. So I don't know if... Oh, fuck. Okay, we're good. I don't want to fuck around with no wolves anymore, chat. Skyrim's changed a lot in the past years, chat, okay? Let me tell you guys something.
Leave me alone. I don't have time for this foolishness. Now come along quietly and we won't have to...
Going on.
We're looking for information about a woman. We believe she may be hiding in Whiterun. We're looking for information about a woman. I think she's still a foreigner in these lands.
I'm not going anywhere.
Is this the woman?
Before I do something drastic.
So next time. She doesn't have the scar. What? Oh, you're right.
In options, magic, thank you. It is so loud. It is so loud. Options, magic, sound. Thank God bless your soul. This is going all the way down here. That shit is like, that shit was blasting. The lighting's so weird. Welcome to ENBs. No, it's not 300 gigabytes. It's 512 gigabytes. Why did we choose the start of an addict? Why did we have to be an addict? Why did we have to be an addict?
I'm not going anywhere. Now back off before I do something drastic.
I see it.
What? Oh, you're right. We've made a mistake.
Come over here.
Move along before that mouth
Here.
of yours gets you into trouble.
Next time you're looking to pester someone, make sure
Hell?
it's the right person.
What's that? You can dodge? Psst. Big man. Where is it? Is it coming? It definitely saw me. I'm gonna use these guys. Where'd they go? Is the bear cool? Is it, are we good? Is it good? Hey. Oh fuck, it was just figuring a way out. Guys, there's a bear. Guys, there's a bear. Guys, there's a bear. Guys, bear. Guys, bear. That poor woman's dead. That poor woman's dead. Oh, thank God there's gods. This Whiterun gods. Or... Hey. There's a big bear down there. How's that bear doing? It looks like it's eating. What's it eating? I don't know how to... Oh, fuck, it saw me. Oh, fuck, it saw me. Oh, fuck, it saw me. Guys, the bear! The bear! Help, 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 help. There's a bear. Shoot the fucking bear. Shoot the He's fucking dead. Holy fuck. This is good. I like this a lot. Damn, you get roasted meat, chat, for burning the fucking bear. Hey, good job, guys.
You speak to a vigilant of Stendar. Cavort with any Daedra, and we will...
Got you. Okay, awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, there's a wolf up there. Damn, this spell does not go far. Oh, fuck. Hey, wolf, help. Kill the wolf. Kill the wolf, please. Beat the fucking wolf up. Help. Help. Get the... Oh, shit. Why is it twitching? Oh my god, it is bleeding. Oh my god. That's so graphic. Okay, let's use some meat, chat. I'm over encumbered, by the way. Oh my god, this is scary. I don't like how scary this is. I genuinely, like... We still have 1,000 more feet to go. How is this lady okay? I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Hey, Bull, you might have video material here. This might be good for you. How many gigs? Let me open up the documents. Documents. Lorerim. It's, still counting up. It's still counting up. 330 gigabytes, still counting up. 400 gigabytes, still counting. Still counting. Still 431 gigabytes, still going up. 480, still going up. 529 gigabytes. 529 gigabytes. There's 4,000 mods in this mod pack. There's 4,000 mods in this. Not today, motherfucker. I'm come strapped. You saw that, right? Did it go away? I think we go this way. Oh my god! How's it not crashed? Well, chat, there's this tool now. You guys know that there's people, a sub-niche community, making their money off of Skyrim mod lists, and they have a Patreon where they maintain, update, and patch mod lists to the point where it's... I'm fucking dead. I'm fucking dead. That's a bear. That's a bear. Let's get on a rock. Let's climb a rock, because we all know bears can't climb in this game. That motherfucker's coming. That motherfucker's coming. This game has no right to be this scary now. Stop. Stop. Go away, dude. Go away. I don't like him. I don't like him. Fuck you, dude. Growl all you want, bitch. You can't touch me. That's right. Run your poser ass away, pussy. I just go? I'm just gonna go. 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 Oh, fuck you. You're so gross. I used to have nightmares of getting chased in the woods by a bear. And I'm kind of like reliving this in my like memory. I think we're good. I don't think the bear's coming. You know, people do that. Which mod pack of this? It's called Lorerim, chat. It's a complete and total overhaul of Skyrim. And it has 4,000 plus mods, and it's insane, as you can see. And I've been wanting to play it. And I was like, why not try? Why not try? So, it seems to be running okay. My model's a little laggy. I wanted to try it out. I'm just gonna go this way. I feel like if we get to Riverwood, we'll be okay. We'll be okay at Riverwood. We got my game lagging. Hold on. Excuse me. Yeah, no, I wanted to try it out. Give me 1 second, chat. I forgot to set the proficiency mode on this. Ninja Studio, set this to high. Thank you. And now if we go back in the game, perfect. The model runs at full quality now. There's a wolf. Jesus fucking Christ. I think I'm hurting. I should have took a different road, I think, chat. I feel like I should have took a... Oh, I'm heavy. Never mind, I'm heavy. Let's eat some more food, I guess, right? Yeah, I guess I'll eat the wolf heart. Oh, ow. Eat the bear heart. I don't know what this do. I'm just taking shit. I don't got any food to eat, so I guess we'll eat some of this too. Let's have an egg while we're at it. Yeah, we'll just... Awesome. 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 You know, this feels good. This feels good. I'm good. Awesome. I'm doing great. Maybe we should take some of that skooma. I think I'd feel better after some skooma, chat. What's the run button in this game? Well, whatever it is, I'm not running. I'm just walking and play. Well, I'm speed walking. Let's go to controls. Stop. Okay. So K's there's like a... Oh, we killed a shroom beetle. Okay, so there's a bestiary. Awesome. I like that. I like that, actually. That's pretty cool. There's a bestiary. Oh, we met vampires. Alt. Well, it's not alt in this. Alt the dodge button. So let's go to controls. Sprint. Okay, it is alt. I do the fucking Naruto run. Running around at the speed of sound. Got nowhere to go. Wait, hold on. I got a better idea. Hold on. Pop this up. Here you go, chat. Let's... Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what we need. Oh, this is good. Okay, Radis. I feel like I got slower when I... Oh, fuck, there's another wolf. Is the same fat? I don't know, I can combat dodge. Wait, I think it's a fox. Are you a wolf or... What is going on? Can you guys tell this is still Skyrim? Hey, man. Oh, it's a little fox. Bye, buddy. Chilling. Did I learn any skills from that? Oh, I do have some skills, right? I feel like maybe. What kind of wizard do we want to be, chat? I mean, we can be a lot of wizards. We can be a destruction wizard, right? What the fuck does marksman do? Should I do one-handed or two-handed? I could be a paladin, a destruction wizard. Okay, I feel like we should have like one-handed then, right? One-handed sounds nice. But then again, being a wizard of destruction, imagine a drug addict that could cast spells and also swing a big sword. Let's do that. We'll call this the construction wizard. We'll call this the construction wizard. Wait, hand to hand? Hold on. Let's do that too. Let's do that. Let's do you know, actually fuck the big weapons, chat. Let's just punch shit. You're lucky I can't run, buddy. Otherwise I'd fuck your shit up. This will be the construction wizard, okay? We'll be the construction wizard. Is that a troll? That's a troll, ain't it? Is that a troll running towards me? I'm pretty sure it's a troll running towards me. We should have took a different pathway. Hey, man, God damn it. God, check. Okay, should we go around? Should we go around? Should we go around? Should we go around? I feel like this path is not it. I feel like this path is not it. There's trolls. There's other shit. The problem is though, I only have this. So oh fuck me, dude. I don't want to go all around. Fuck me. Fuck me. Chad, I have to go. Whoop. Maybe sneak past the troll. Okay, yeah. I mean, we're close. This is wherever this fucking place is. Let's try it. Let's try sneaking past the troll, okay? Let's get our skills. I'm gonna save because I know what I want now. Oh, let's get one-handed and let's do hand to hand, okay? Hand to hand. And we can also do evasion. Ooh. Ooh, okay. We can be a fucking methed out wizard monk. A methed out wizard monk. That's the plan. How's that sound for a plan? A methed out wizard monk? The methed out wizard monk. I like that. Is that a dog? Oh, it is a dog. It was definitely a dog. Can we... I'm gonna drop one of these. Why is this worth $1,000? Is that like a good weapon? I feel like I'm gonna stick with my fist out of principle though. You know, I got two guns. One right here and one right here. That's all I need, chat. That's all I need. A dog. I wish I knew how to heal. Can I rest somewhere? We need to rest somewhere. Alright. I count 6. How do you count 6 guns? I have no... Does this heal you? Does skooma heal you? I mean, I could take some skooma. Dude, the fucking sun just came out. What the fuck? The lighting in this feels weird. I kind of like it, but what the fuck? Alright, so... What I can do to sneak past this troll... Neto? You and your chat are in for an adventure. I'm playing a Skyrim mod pack with 4,000 mods in it. 4,000 mods in it. And I'm gonna get really high today. And I'm gonna journey. It's already been a riot. So, I come up with a character, okay? We're gonna be playing a methed out wizard monk. Okay? Because chat forced me to take the start where I start as a skooma addict, and I have skooma on me now, and I'm a methed out wizard monk. They were very cohesive. They did force me. They did force me, Netto. Hi, Netto. How are you? I guess I'm in a dilemma. Okay? I can either go all the way around here to get to Riverwood, or I can cut through this pass, but there's a troll. There's a troll. So I'm thinking, right? I'm gonna take this mountain up here and go around. But I'm looking up at that now and I'm like, Well, chat, all great adventures start now. I believe, Netto, I can take skooma at any moment and do a skooma lean. You can actually, this mod does have a cool thing, but it looks a little weird. You can vault. You can like pull yourself up, which is nice. So, I mean, it's not horrible. It doesn't really work too well, but like, whatever. I mean, it's more immersive than like horse climbing, I guess. Okay, I can go up here. This is nice. Guys, does Skyrim canonically have 2 moons? Or Elder Scrolls, sorry, I'm saying Skyrim. Does it canonically have that, or? Yes? Awesome, okay. Am I freezing to death up here? I'm pretty sure I'm freezing to death up here, chat. I'm pretty sure it's too cold up here. And I'm freezing to death. I don't have anything to heal me. Unless... I don't think that's gonna heal me. This might heal me. What about this? Oh, that healed me a little bit. Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure there's an invisible wall right here. No, there's not. Just, okay. This is how you run, by the way, guys. You guys wanna... This is how you run. Just thought I'd let you know. Ah, feels good. Feels good to, what's even up here? I mean, I might as well, right? I don't know if this is gonna kill me, though. Phenomenal. That's how we left the supermarket music. The supermarket music playlist has begun. I mean, you lock it. You have no idea, Octo, what you fucking missed. Octo, do you know what's going on right now? You know what's going on right now, Octo? Because I'll tell you. I'll tell you, and you're gonna be like, oh. You're gonna say, oh, that's awesome. I downloaded a Skyrim mod pack that has 4,249 mods in it. Okay? What's with that fire over there? And it's been incredible. I tripped over a dead dog. I started as a skooma addict in the wilds, and now I'm scaling this fucking mountain to avoid a troll, and I don't even know where I am. I have Octo in my... This has too many mods. Wait, guys, I'm going to Oblivion. I'm going to Oblivion. What the... All right, I guess we're gonna go see our old pal in Cyrodiil, the Blades. By the 9s. Oh god. Oh god. How do I? Do I have warmer clothes? Maybe. Let's put on this mage hood because it's pretty warm. And that might help us a little bit. And then these boots are pretty warm. Not bad as warm as those things. Okay, awesome. So yeah, I put on a hood, so maybe that'll keep us warmer. I don't know if is Sky Oblivion in this? I have no idea. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. I'm just trying to find my way around this. The music's so fucking funny, dude. The music's so fucking funny. This is so fucking funny. Is this it? This is an invisible wall? No, it's not. We're going up. There you go. Okay, awesome. Oh, this is an RPG, chat. There's no walls stopping me. There it is, chat. Beautiful as the day I saw her, Oblivion. Wow. What the fuck is back here? There's actually stuff back here. What is that? Oh, that's where I need to go. That's the place. I'm gonna just leave a stave here, chat, because I just want to see how far I can go out. Because that's where I'm supposed to go. That's where I'm supposed to go. That's where I'm supposed to go, but I need to go this way. Something's calling me to go to see how far I go towards Cyrodiil. Just this mountain, guys. Just past this mountain. I did save first so I can go down there. What the fuck is that? Guys, why is there shit out here? Do you guys see that? What is that? There's like a strange tower out here. We're playing fucking Skyrim Backrooms Edition. Hold on. That wasn't in base game? Guys, does this look like it's in fucking base game? I don't know where the fuck I am. There's nothing out here except some fucking towers. And I don't think this is a part of base game. Guys, maybe this is how you enter Elder Scrolls 6. I can't wait to end up on a Dexerto article and they spread misinformation in the title and they say, local streamer finds secret spot no streamers have found. You click on the article, and it's a fucking chest under the water. I fucking hate news articles. Oh, I saw that, Boogie. I saw that. Where the fuck am I going? What the fuck is going on? Where the fuck am I going? 20-year-old secret discovered, and it's just the chest under the water. This is the chest under the water. Oh, fuck. Guys, I see it. Oblivion. By the nines, there it is. By the nines, chat, do you see it? Tamriel. By the nines. Let me run over there. I'll get there lickety split. That's a floating building. Should we go to, I guess we go to Oblivion. Pat, we're going to Oblivion. We're gonna waddle our fat ass on over to Oblivion. See what happens. Oh, good. You know, I'm really glad it ended up like this. I'm really glad. You know, I didn't think it would be like this. And I'm really glad it was. I'm really glad it was, chat. I'm really glad we get to go to Oblivion. Yeah, no, I see it. There it is. And all the mountain sound effects went away. Let's eat something. Yeah, let's have some beetle wax and nernroot. There we go. I don't think that beetle wax was good for me. I don't think, let's eat something else maybe. Eat the beetle legs. Oh yeah, the beetle legs are good. There we go. You can eat the beetle legs, but not the beetle wax, okay? Don't eat the beetle wax, eat the beetle legs. We're learning. We're learning, chat. Just in case I see that beetle again, which I don't think we're ever gonna see that fucking guy again. What's the... Oh, okay. I am on jog mode. This is the walk. It's like the Baywatch walk. There you go. Hell yeah, okay. I feel like I'm playing I'm in a different fucking realm of existence right now. I just don't feel like I you know, like when you like play, like, dude, that's crazy that all of, like, wait, is all of Oblivion just modeled over here? The fuck is that? What's in this ominous seeping fog? What is this, dude? God, who's gonna see this, man? I'm immersed too. I'm so immersed walking to Oblivion, and I can't wait to see Oblivion in all its glory. It just works. It just works. I definitely am not supposed to be here. I can tell because all those rocks went away. All those rocks went away. And it's just repeating snow texture. All the ambient sounds went away. And my voice is the only thing in here. Oh. Awesome. Guys, welcome to Oblivion. Amazing. Amazing. It is no longer cold. It is no longer cold. It's nothing. No, guys, this is what Sky Oblivion's about, man. Check it out. Check it out. There it is. Wow. Awesome. Really cool. Oh my god. We are so far away. We are so far away, guys. We are so far away. Jump off? I would if I could. But it's a pretty thick ledge. Yeah, this is the story of an addict. Let's load our save back, chat. Let's load our save back because we gotta get to that one place. Not Rorikstead. What's that place called? Helgen. We gotta get to Helgen. And when I go to Helgen, I can go down. And there it is. I mean, it's right there. So we did it. We got past the troll. We took the shortcut. The drug addict who could, chat. That's the story. The drug addict who could. I scaled a mountain. Well, listen, we spawned here. Okay, we spawned here. I'm not going to Riverwood from going around here. I'm gonna take the quick way. And this was the quickest way. Believe it or not, we have saved time. I am high as balls. I figured I'd match my character, and that if I'm high, I would do what a person on Skooma would do. Right? So what the fuck is that building out there for? Because that's cool, man. That's cool. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, see, that's where you come down the hill and you talk to the guy, and the guy's like, "You there, horse thief." Do you want to send cringe? There's a let's play out there of me when I think I was 12 when this game came out. And I was very depressed when it came out. Because my mom died that year. However, I released a let's play. And it was a 5-minute video of me playing the intro, where the intro ran at 1 FPS. And I just kept talking about, oh my god, you're so buff. You're so buff. I don't think this is Helgen. This is not Helgen. What the fuck is this place? I'm being scammed. I don't know what this is. Is this Helgen? Yeah. And then I said, okay, guys, I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you. I didn't even get to make my character. I should reflect on my newfound experiences. Me too, buddy. Me too. What's the... Oh, I gotta see what the... Let's go to controls. What's the favorite button? What button is that? Quick magic. P. P for penis. That's not what I want. Oh. What's the favorite tab? There's like a radial menu. A radial menu? A radial menu. I want to know how to do the radial menu. Q? Thank you. It's not Q. I could just do P, but I saw this one guy have this like cool radial menu pop up. I want to know how to do that, but I'm scared to hit buttons. Wait. Oh, it's G. But I don't know how to... what? What do I do with this? How do I get it not to be empty anymore? This might be a bandit camp. I'm a little scared.
Adam, hey, you
Wait, how do I get my HUD back?
awake. You were trying to gunshot.
Fuck. Fuck you, dude. Oh, there we go. To bandit camp? That's good. They're making Jack their boat. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. That scared the shit out of me. Alright, we're gonna take their boat and head down the river. Of course not. Of course it don't work that way. What the fuck? I'm so... Why is this Spock? I'm so powerful. This is Fort New God. Fort New God? Maybe they're nice here. You need to fill it from your inventory? How do I do that, though? Is it favorite menu?
Hey, this is Chen callsign pound-69420 XDT. We have a major sticky spell in the comments. The agenda.
What? No, what? Fuck you. How do I... I guess. I'm just sure if I can use the cool radial menu that's there, but I don't know if that's gonna work. Good night, Agent Sleepo. I didn't think it was gonna be a stream. No problem, Agent. I'll be doing them. There's gonna be a lot of May streams this week. Are these bad people here? There's bad people here, isn't there? It's a bad people zone. I think I'm gonna get my ass beat, right? I don't remember this in the Skyrim intro. Please, it's so cold. Oh, I'm not wearing my hat, right? I gotta put on my hat, my warm hat. My warm hat, right? Oh, we got my warm hat on. Okay, that's good. That's good. I need a drink. I need a drink. I need a drink. I already have a drink. Well, I just want to see in case they're friendly. Maybe I can buy something, you know? It doesn't look like a bandit camp. I mean, it looks very inviting and warm and welcoming, right?
Now ain't this a surprise?
Okay, I'm going. My fault, OG. My fault, OG. My fault. I'll leave. My bad. My bad. I didn't mean to. I'm leaving, okay? I'm leaving. No, ooh. Shooting me. They're gonna shoot me, dog. I'm leaving. I'm leaving, please. I gotta skedaddle. Woo, 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 woo. Wow, that was awesome. I really got away. Lickety split, dude. Lickety split. Oh, you're not going to bed, Papa? Yeah, no, I don't think I streamed it. I was pretty... I won't lie, guys. I got really hungover. I know I said I wasn't gonna be hungover, but I lied to you. I lied to you. I was hungover. Helgen! No fucking way, it's Helgen! Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not looking good for Helgen. Guys, I think we... I think it's not looking good for Helgen. I think, Wow, what could have happened here? Oh my god, this is awful! Oh my god, wow, this is... Who could have predicted this? Oh my god. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Wow. You know, I never actually went back up to Helgen. Place looks empty as fuck. The body turns to ash, but a leather journal survived the attack. Read the journal. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wow. Okay, we officially started the game, chat. We officially started the game. Oh no, you're gonna stay up with me? You don't have to. Alright, chat. Investigate the cave mentioned in the journal. I could just go around, right? I mean, hey, why not, right? Where's all the people? Where's all the people? Where's all the people? Have you guys ever been back to Helgen before? No, not the kid live or something. Oh, there it is, chat. Wow, I can see it. I've never been back up to Helgen before. That was such a surreal experience to see the dragon fly away. It becomes a bandit place? That's weird. That's crazy, actually. Some bandits? Interesting. I wonder what's gonna happen if I go back now in this modded version, right? But chat, we gotta level up first. We gotta go to Helgen and get some treats and heal up and find an inn. Our arduous journey has really, it's really brought us somewhere, you know? It's really brought us somewhere. I can investigate this cave? Wait, what quest do I have? Hold on, this is such a weird way to do things. I kind of like it like this though. This is fun. I kind of like this. This is interesting. Okay. Investigate the cave or warn the residents of Riverwood. Should I... Chat, do I investigate the cave? Okay, when there's choices like this... When there's choices like this, guys, can I ask you guys to help me pick? What should we do? Cave? Or just go to Riverwood? It's giving me a decision. This could have implications in the story. Cave? Cave. Okay, we'll go in the cave. We'll see what happens. Yeah, you're right. What if there's skooma in the cave? I'll have an axe. For now. I want to punch things. But I feel like I need like a good hit and stick. I feel like I need a good hit and stick if I'm gonna go in this cave. I'm so fucking tired. My character, I need to rest though, chat. I'm so sleepy. I'm so sleepy. Maybe I can make a camp somehow or something later. That's okay. We'll go in here. The light. This looks so pretty. This doesn't look like Skyrim. This doesn't look like Skyrim. It's weird. Hello? This is really pretty. And also really fucking scary. What is that up there? What is that? Oh, it's a stick. It was a stick. That fucking thing alive? I like the stealth system. It's a corpse. There is something here. I don't want to fuck with it. Adva. Why did you come back? I came to see what was going on here. Are you mad? You need to go to Warden Riverwood. Quit. I don't know who you are. Who are you? Bring Hadvar a healing potion. Who the fuck is Hadvar? Yeah, he's meant to be alive. There's this is custom because there's no dialogue for it. Hey, Rayloff. Oh, I see. I get it now. I understand it. Can I kill him? Hold on, before I do that. Let me quick save. Look, I think he's all better now. They're just faking it. They're just faking it. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go. Who gives a fuck about these motherfuckers, right? Who gives? Let's just leave. They're just faking it, anyways. I don't care. We can just leave. We can just leave, right? The main story, I think we just like forget about it, you know? Because you don't have to side with either of them in the main story either. Their families will give you stuff. Well, guys, I don't have a fucking healing potion, okay? I can't give them anything. And I don't think I'm gonna find a healing potion magically in this room. And trust me, I'm looking. I'm looking. And it's really dark in here. I can't see. Wait, maybe he has a healing potion on him. No. You have one right here. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go. Okay, goodbye. See you later. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye. What's that favorite movie? That's a tough one, actually. You know, believe it or not, I don't really watch a lot of movies. My favorite movie. I try to think of movies that give impacts on my life because that's how I value art and stuff like that. I think about the impact it's given on my life, right? And I can't name any movies that have like impacted my life deeply in such a way. I think my favorite movie, if I had one, I really like Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs is really good. I think that's a good movie. For a comedy movie though, I like Bad Trip. I think Bad Trip's my favorite comedy movie, which is a really underrated movie. Really underrated movie. I probably watched it like 12 times. It's a... Wait, you guys ever see the Eric Andre show? Basically, Eric Andre made a movie, okay? And the entire thing is one big, long Eric Andre skit. And the idea is, okay, that he gets unwilling actors to play the roles of the people in the movie. So he records in public places and gets people to continue on the movie. And he acts like a movie character. And there's only 5 actors in the movie. And they act like movie characters. And he pranks people. And he does shit like this shot. So in the opening cutscene, he's working at a car wash, right? And he's trying to like, obviously he's trying to further the movie. And they only use the material where they actually got the movie to go further. And they're at the car wash and his crush pops up. Who's the one other actor in the movie besides his friend. His crush pops up and this random guy who's getting his car serviced at this car wash, right? He says, oh shit, my crush is here, to this guy. And then while he's saying that, in Eric Andre fashion, he has a vacuum and the vacuum sucks up his clothes and his dick's out. It's just his dick's out, chat, in front of this guy. And it's like a whole embarrassing thing. Hi, Fox. Good to see you. Wow. Look at the little baby. Bye, friend. I want this flower. It's a great movie. Well, we should watch it. I I just feel bad because I make you guys watch it so fucking much. I make you guys watch it so much. There's a part, guys, where they had a guy in a realistic gorilla costume, and it was in a zoo. So everything's really like positive in the zoo. So like there's a group of people in the zoo, and Eric Andre goes in the quote unquote gorilla cage, right? But it's not actually a real gorilla in the cage. It's an actor in a hyper realistic gorilla suit, and he basically gives Eric Andre like Eric Andre goes to take a picture with the gorilla, and the gorilla strips him naked, butt fucks him, and then makes Eric Andre give him a blowjob in the gorilla outfit while people watched, and then he had cum all over his face. And they bought it, they believed it, because it was like it's because you gotta understand the whole movie's like set up with real people. Okay. The whole movie is set up with real people, chat. Real people. So basically they go in it, they're actually on a tour in this zoo. And so these people dead ass believe this guy's getting fucked by a gorilla. I love Eric Andre, and that movie is so underrated. That movie is so fucking underrated. It's one of my favorite movies ever, chat. But to answer your question, I actually listen to music more. I listen to musicals. A lot of musicals don't actually have plays, chat. Because a lot of people think when you think about music, you think of Broadway. But a lot of musicals don't have like plays to them. So I listen to musicals that tell a story in anime. I can name like 10 animes that I think have had a big impact on my life. Yes, musicals. My favorite one is by the Deer Hunter, and it's called Antamai. Which I can play right now for you guys. This one, it's really good. It's basically tells the story of like a dystopian society, and each song goes through each different section of society. So this one's called Poverty. And it's singing about like the people that are like, you know, in poverty outside of the city, right? And that one's really good. This one's the industry one, which is number 7. It's really good, and each one has a different theming, and it's really good. And it's an all indie rock album, and it's so good. So each one has a different theme. Each one has a different theme in it. This one's probably my favorite song in the list. I like this one. It's good, chat. It's good. This one's about District or Ring 4, which the 4th ring is about the police patrols and stuff like this. This guy became a cop, basically. He became a cop with magical powers. And there's subtle, like, evilness to it, right? My favorite song, though, probably has to be this one. And it's because this is, like, the special song. Like, or not special. This is, like, the rich district. This is Ring 2, which is about nature. And this one's really cool because it's really happy, right? It's really happy. It's really happy. And then basically, this has a bridge. And the bridge is so cool. The bridge is so cool. It's probably my favorite bridge in any song. Listen to this shit. It bridges to the second part. Listen how this is done, chat. It's so evil sounding in this part. I like this one a lot. It's just evil. It's evil. It's singing about how the rich in this dystopian society, you know, they're not worried, they're just laughing. Because they'll be okay while the other people will, no matter what happens. Right? Really cool. And then this part where the evil guy is. This guy, he's the evil big boy. This guy. And he has like godly powers or something. No, that was an actual like one with plays and stuff like that. This one isn't that. That was Razia's Shadow, which I really do like. Hold on. I just like the puppet show rendition of Razia's Shadow a lot. But yeah, that was Razia's Shadow. Razia's Shadow, which is really good. Really good. That's this one. Hold on. That's this one. That's this one. I love this one. This is so cool. We watched this on stream. I went over this on stream with you guys. It's really good. The story is really sad. I don't know why all the stories are sad in the musicals. This one. I like this one. This one, I love the ending song because it has the main antagonist is Brendan Urie as Palace. It's Brendan fucking Urie, dude. And so he's such a good singer too. And then the other guy is Casey Crescenzo, who is obviously my favorite artist from the Deer Hunter. So it's so fucking good. Like, I don't know, I like this puppet show a lot. Is this too girly for you guys? You guys like, is this too girly? Like, I don't know, like, I feel like this is too girly for people when I bring up my fucking puppet shows and such. My favorite artist though, chat, is the Deer Hunter, who, believe it or not, these guys, they don't really have a lot of music videos from their stuff. They were wanting to make music videos for the Deer Hunter. Like the Deer Hunter band started from their songs acts 1 through 5, but they didn't really get to make a full play out of it or movie. So this is all we got basically, which is really well done. It's really pretty. I'd love to see a full musical with this, like with the stuff and everything. This guy's Hunter. Hunter's haunted by his past because he's an evil guy. Well, he's not evil. He's this story is so complicated. Every time I tell people about this, they're like, huh? Only a theater kid could have wrote in chat. This guy's Hunter. His mother died. He fell in love with a prostitute called Misleading. And then he goes to war. And this is the war song about him like remembering the war that he went to. And there was a guy who looked like him that turned out to be his like half brother or something. And he looked like him, and the guy dies. So he takes over his personality. He takes over his like identity and like becomes like a part of this rich family. And then he poisons the dad. I forget why. He poisons the dad and kills people. And then like he becomes mayor later on because he's being groomed by this guy called the Pimp and the Priest. And the Pimp and the Priest, chat, are not separate people. That is the main antagonist. The Pimp and the Priest is a pimp and priest. That's who that guy is. He's the pimp and the priest, and he runs a brothel and a church. And the brothel is called the Dime. He runs the church and the Dime. And no, like I'm not even joking. That's what this guy does. He took this guy's identity, and he's running away from his nightmares that he did. He runs away from his nightmares. Oh yeah, see, this is the guy that looks like him that he takes over his identity. Wait, I love this song so much. This is from Act. I don't think this is Act 3. I think this is Act 4. Yeah, Act 4. Yeah, this guy, he dies in mustard gas and he takes over his identity and he's reliving his nightmare. It's a pretty good story. Yeah, there's also a song, hold on, Deer Hunter Act 3. He said he had a story. This is a song about him. He's narrating himself fucking a prostitute at the time. And that's the entire song, and it's pretty good. It's actually one of my favorite songs on the album. It's really good. It's really good. it's literally what this is the whole song. Like, oh, it's so good. Each album has a different theming. And Act 3 is the section about the war. So it's very like rocky and like dirty sounding. It's really good. And this is him talking to his war buddies that he's like about how he fucked a prostitute. It's really good. And he wants her name, because he fell in love with her and he thinks it's misleading. Misleading's the character. Deer Hunter, Act 2, Deer Misleading. This character. This is another song. This sounds so cool. He's saying this with a throat infection, almost lost his voice. It's so good. I love. Yes, his name's Casey Crescenzo. He's my favorite Abel. He does awesome falsettos. I'll show you in a second. It's a whole story. It's awesome. Why are you apologizing? I like talking about this stuff. I love this fucking song. Hi, Sunny. The only bad thing about saying pause here for so long is I noticed that the skybox tiles. Can you guys see that? The skybox tiles. It's got a pattern in it. I can see the pattern. Response to your response. Dun, dun, dun. Anyways, this is one of my favorite songs. I guess they're all my favorite songs. This is where he had, look at his falsetto, chat. Look at his falsetto. This song's so good. This is called The Tank, and it's him singing about a tank in the war song, in the war section. And it's isn't that fucking awesome? He sounds so evil when he sings like that too. Chat, listen to his falsetto. He does such a good falsetto. Like, how do you do that? It's so pretty. That's not even his best falsetto either. He's done crazier falsettos. Hi, Laidman. I think my favorite song comes from Act 4, and it's called If All Goes Well. If All Goes Well. This song's really cool. So this is a prog rock song, chat. So basically it builds up to a crescendo. And it progressively gets crazier. It's so good. I love this song. It's so good. This seems like good sipping. Yeah, it builds up here. Listen. I love this song. Oh, by the way, so the ending of this chat, the Deer Hunter Act 5 is the ending, the last album they made. And this is about the main character who's called Hunter finding out he's a piece of shit. And how he was like misled and stuff like that. And so he burns down the church and the dime. He burns down the church and the dime, which is the church and the brothel. He burns them down. And that's the song when he burns it down. It's so evil sounding. And after he burns down the church and the dime, right? He feels better and things like that. And then the last song is basically the town. Since he's the mayor, Hunter becomes the mayor. The town comes to kill him. And this is what this song's about. And I love this song. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Oh, it's so good. It's 5 albums. I love this song, by the way. It's so good. It's crazy. And then this song is called Blood. Basically, he kills the pimp and the priest. And then he kills himself. And this is him like dying on the ground and his like last thoughts going through his head. And it's kind of fucked up. It's kind of like it's crazy. The lyrics are crazy too. I love how lyrical these are. It's so good. DMs. Isn't it? I love this song. I do, Iron Man. I do like that one. And this part is so sad. It's such a deep song. After the whole story, like yeah. Aww, it's so sad. Oh, a fun fact about all these songs, chat. All the songs link together. So they have these ambient sounds or like ending sounds and they all link together. So look, I'll let this one play out and look, it's gonna switch songs. You see that? It links together. If you listen on like an app or something, it's so good. And this is the ending song, basically. It's so sad. My favorite part is this part. Because all these sounds in the background, chat, there's different sounds in the background. Yeah, Deer Hunter, but spelled as like deer is the letter. See, the Deer Hunter, because Deer Hunter is the letter. So Hunter, it's like a letter, because Hunter's the main character in the that's what they got their name from, this fucking album, which is about Hunter. Oh my god, one of my favorite songs, actually, the Deer Hunter. If you listen, this is one of my favorite songs. It's so sleazy sounding, chat. This song. This is from the first album where you introduce the characters, and this is where they introduce the pimp and the priest. And you could just tell he's a piece of shit. It's my favorite part that there's the main character is a fucking like a combo pimp and priest. Like, it's just really funny. This part. This is his first album. It was made in 2007. He was doing this from 2007 to 2016, I believe. So long time. And he started doing new albums after these ones. So you hear this like, you hear that sound? Every time you hear that, chat, in the background of one of the songs, it's supposed to refer to that character showing up in the scene, because it's supposed to be like a musical. So like you have to imagine in the scene in your head he shows up. So every time you hear that, and that's him showing up. That's how they introduce characters. They have like certain motifs in the background. This guy's a piece of. I love this song. For the freshest young blood, innocence for the feast. The book will then brew at the sinful commit. While the pimp and priest quietly were the precious. Oh, I like hard rock music. I like indie rock the most though. This isn't theater music. This is like storybook music kinda. You listen to it when you're high or something. I smoke weed and listen to this all the time. Where's my stuff? It's so good. It's crazy. Hold on. The Deer Hunter. What's the song called? Hey kid, get a job. I know it's one of the lyrics. This one. The Bittersweet. I don't know what just popped up when I was searching stuff. I hope it's not bad, but hey. This song. I love this song. It's so good. I'll remember to restock because I am almost out. Test the musical? No, if I listen to Frogger in the musical. He goes up, left, up, down, left, up, up, up. This song's crazy, by the way, chat. Oh. Oh, you guys don't know. Actually, hold on. City Escape. I love this song, chat. This is from the first one. It's crazy. Like, it just opens up like this. I want them to remaster this so bad. I love this one. I wish they remastered it. I wish they'd remaster this. No, I know it. It's the same song. I think it's actually came out before that Sonic song, if I remember correctly. I love this song. Holy shit. There's more. Hold on. Dear, I'm trying to find the one song I'm thinking about. It's on the tip of my tongue. You can hear when it has to be in this one. Oh yeah, by the way, chat, this song, the whole album opens up with an acapella. And it's so good. I love his voice too. It's so good. I love this song. He improved so much when he made this, chat. Like, that's awesome. Not the Thief. Is it? Maybe I'm thinking of one of the fourth album songs. Maybe. I don't think it's any of these. Is it Mustard Gas? No. I love this song though. I know, it's so good. This isn't the song I'm thinking of. It's gonna be Act 4. Hold on, chat. There's a song I'm thinking of. There's a song I'm thinking of that has like the... Oh yeah, no, this is definitely the Pimp and the Priest one. Okay. Which one is this though? I was trying to show off the thing like they do. It's not this one. Is it Waves? No, it's this one. Is it this one? I'm trying to hear when you... There's a lot of... This is a big album. Is it this one? Is that it? Oh yeah. There's the womp womp womp. This song is really good. This is the one I'm thinking of. This is the I love this song, chat. This one's got the well, yeah, because I listen to this song a lot. Listen, low-key, I love Meicha. I listen to this song a lot. I don't know, it's just really nice to listen to when I'm feeling sad. And I've been feeling sad recently a little bit. I've been listening to this one a lot. It makes me cry. You know, it's a really nice song. Go watch Meicha's song. And this song that, I don't know, it's kind of like comfort songs. Like it's I'm like sad and stuff like that. So I go listen to this song. But this is about the Pimp and the Priest, and he's so evil. He's so evil, dude. I love the album art card too. It's done before AI, which is like, I feel bad because it like looks like AI now. That's how fucked up AI is, but it's before AI's time. Like the trees all like melting and stuff. It looks so cool. But if someone did this now, someone would be like, oh, that's AI. That's AI. Yeah, this song makes me cry too. I can't listen to it. This part, chat, listen to this. It's the church thing. Because he's also like bad in church. He steals people's money. He steals people's money. And he's like fucked up and evil. Nah, I like musicals like this. All the musicals I listen to are rocky. I don't like more like, I don't like the loose kind of like Disney shit. I feel like Sam is really good development and storytelling. Yeah, I like Made in Abyss, for example. He's evil. That's the song I was thinking about. Yeah, like horror pictures too. Stuff like this is perfect. I feel like, so Act 3 is my favorite because that's when I got into, chat, but this album has grown on me. So these are all the songs, chat, by the way, all the fucking songs. But do you guys know he makes other music outside of this too? My favorite album that he's done is probably this one called Migrant, and he remastered it recently, and it's so nice. And these songs don't really have like, it's not a musical or a story album or anything like that. It's just songs that he made. It's just songs that he made that are really good. A lot of them are like vent songs. I think he has a lot of issues with love with people, so a lot of his songs about like love. So it's really nice. I've cried to this song. What else have I cried to in this one? This one's my favorite song though. This one's cute. It's cute, isn't it? Have fun making.
Give me a sign that something is going to
Isn't this cute? I like the song.
turn on the light. This tunnel is far too dim.
It's sad though. It's sad. Violet Evergarden. I watched it. It's good. It's good. It didn't make me cry that much, though. I don't know. I'm pretty picky when it comes to crying on certain things. Reruns made me cry a fuck ton. I haven't finished it. I like rerun a lot. Yeah, I like that. I like that album a lot. So that's my favorite fucking. That's my favorite artist ever. Hold on, I gotta go back to get our music. I fucked up. There we go. Wait, now hold on. We have to look up. We have to look up. What are we looking up? Oh fuck. Sounds a supermarket. That's what I'm looking for. Because we can if we skip this, we get put into like. We get put into like the shit. Why can I suddenly hear everything? Hold on, I need to turn on the ambient sound. That was so loud. But yeah, guys, if you guys don't weren't doing today, we're playing Elden Ring, or not Elden Ring, Skyrim. But I downloaded a mod pack with 4,000 mods. It's 500. It's 500 gigabytes worth of Skyrim mods. So we're gonna see what it's like, you know? I mean, it is beautiful. It looks like I'm playing Elder Scrolls 6, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not joking about that. It's 500 gigabytes. There's 4,249 mods in here. What the fuck was that? Butterfly! Hi, good Henry. Thank you so much for your sub. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's Ark Survival. This better have more content Ark Survival Evolved, otherwise I'm gonna be fucking pissed. I think it does. I think it does. Listen, if Ark has to be 500 gigabytes, this can be 500 gigabytes, okay? It's fine. It's fine. It's called Lorerim Roof. I'd recommend it. I think you can run it too. It's actually not that intensive. The fuck? What is that? What the fuck? Oh, it's going behind a mountain. Okay, I was like, what's above me? I got scared. I'm just quick saving because something fucking murked me here and I didn't know what it was because I got no HP. I got no HP, you guys. I got no HP. I don't know what's going on. Dude. What the fuck's happening? I'm not fucking around with that. It's just a mod pack 500 gigs. The game's 14 gigs. The game's 14 gigs. I would like to reiterate. The game is 14 gigabytes. The game is 14 gigabytes. The mod pack is 500 gigs. Now, granted, 100 of those or so are all the graphical and the shader changes and shit and everything. And I don't know how that works, but we're gonna make sure it works and, you know, things like that. And also, granted, it doesn't run the best, like on my OBS. Somehow it's running. Don't know how. I can actually fix the lag, I think. Yeah, there we go. I fixed the lag in OBS now, so you guys... I mean, animated emotes lag for some reason. The Guardian Stones. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, gang. But it's pretty big. Yeah, I'm just gonna steal these. I hope God doesn't mind, or whoever. What's going on? What was that? I'm weary? Oh, I'm getting tired. I mean, that makes sense. Are the gods mad at me? What's going on? I'm tripping balls, chat. I'm tripping balls, dude. I'm tripping fucking balls, dude. I think I'm tired. My character hasn't slept yet. That would make sense. I don't know. Strongbox locked? Oh, okay. Can I try anyways? No, okay. I can't try this. The Thief Stone. Ooh, Thief Stone. No, I want to be like a mage. Let's be a mage. I think I'm gonna pass out. Yeah, I'll do that. Fuck it. I think I need that. I am losing stamina. I might just pass out. I might just pass out then. I think we... Listen, Ravenholm or where the fuck we're going to. Let's just eat this. Let's have some wine, maybe. We just gotta hoof it down there, chat, okay? I need to sleep. Oh god. This isn't just Requiem. This is a fucking 5,000 mods or so. Like, this is too many. Well, the good news is, chat, I can still fight. I'm definitely tripping balls, but it's just down there. It's just down there. We're almost there, right? We're almost there. That's the Embashad mine. Was that always there? Was that always there? The Embashad mine? Was that always there? I hate that I understood every fucking word in that sentence. I hate that. I hate that. I hate... What is Benjamin coming back? Did Zumas rediscover Benjamin? You know, this old man Octo was telling me about Benjamins the other day. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't be like that to Octo. Octo's so nice. Oh fuck, chat. The vultures. They're circling me. They're waiting till I die to get my meat. Look. They're circling me. Oh fuck. What is that? Hold on. Let's eat some meat. Drink some alcohol. What is that? I'm pissing. Fuck, dude, I was unprepared. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, dude. It's not even Requiem, chat. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. There's 4,235 mods, chat, okay? This is a miracle. This is a miracle within and of itself. Alright, the fuck? Oh, okay. I gotta load back by 1 to 52. It's good. I think my favorite thing. I think one of my favorite animes that made me cry. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, but oh, I can eat meat to go faster. It's a tough one to pick, honestly. There's a lot that I like. Madoka Magica. Evangelion and the rebuilds are my favorite. Made in Abyss I really like too. I don't know how to lock on either, chat. I'm just fucking fighting for the love of the game. I don't know how to lock. I don't know. What the fuck is this, like, fucking stupid thing anyways? I'm gonna go beat its ass. Hold on. Did I just get hit by a wolf too? No? Hey, fuck off, buddy. I'm getting out of here, okay? Never. Oh, Ancient Magus Bride made me bawl my eyes out when I was younger. For a lot of reasons, I really self-inserted as the character a lot. I was like, why can't I be kidnapped by a cute little wizard? Life is so unfair. Life is so unfair. Chat's my little wizards now. Because you guys don't have sex. So you're a wizard. Get it? Guys, we made it to Riverstead or whatever. Riverwood. I made it to Riverwood. Amazing.
A dragon.
I saw a dragon. Where's the inn? I need to go take a fucking nap. This looks like the inn. Wait, that's the trader. Fuck, thinking no beds in here.
Has to do something.
I said
What are you doing that for?
No adventures, no theatrics, no thief chasing.
Well, what are you going to do then, huh? Let's hear it.
We are done talking about this.
Bro's place is ransacked.
A customer. Sorry you had to hear that.
Hey, no, I'll be back later, okay? I don't want listen, I don't want to be in your business. I'll be back later, okay? I need to find a nap. I need to take a nap. Okay, this has to be the inn. Yeah, this is the inn. This is the inn. Assassination Classroom's alright. I feel like it's one of those animes, like I don't think you'll fret about it. It's just like it's kind of hard to remember a lot of it, you know?
Orgnar, are you listening?
Can I sleep?
Hard not to.
The ale is going bad. We need to get a new batch.
Why does everyone got family problems here, Chad? You realize that? Why does everyone's got little family problems?
Bad visitor. I'm the innkeeper.
I'd like to rent a room. 50 fucking G's? God, dude. Okay.
Years after all. Just make sure we get a fresh batch in soon.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire.
Awesome. Where's the bedrooms? What the fuck's happening? Ooh, my shit's lagging now. What the fuck? There you go. I don't know what's... Oh, it's still lagging a little bit. Okay, hold on, chat. Let me just clean up some things real quick. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Close that. Yes, sir. Close that. There we go. Way better. I fixed it. Okay, I need to sleep. I am seeing fucking colors. Is this my bed? What does yellow mean? Is yellow good? No, this one's white. I want white. There you go. Let's sleep, let's sleep. I think we should sleep 24 hours. I think we need to serve that after our journey, chat. After our journey. Skill points to distribute. Hubba hubba. Put that in destruction. Let's increase magic up too. Alright, destruction, yeah. I got a lot of skill point. Oh my god, I leveled up a bunch, chat. Let's do destruction again. And then we can do let's do one-handed as well. Increase magicka again. Awesome. So now we have more stuff. What's Wayfair? Oh, that's like a treasure finder. That might be good to upgrade, right? Ooh, I might get something with that. Let's get something with destruction, maybe. We have more stuff in here, right? No, we can't get anything. Damn. We also can't upgrade it one-handed, I don't think. Where's one-handed? There's so many things, chat. There's so many perks here. One-handed. Weapons or fit. Yeah, we'll grab this. Fuck it. I wanna be the buff wizard. We're like Mashal, except we can actually cast spells. And we'll also grab this too, because this seems nice. Plus 25 carry weight. Let's grab that. That seems good. Awesome. I'm peckish. Damn, I'm hungry. Damn, I'm hungry. Damn, I'm hungry. I got a new destiny point too. That's right. Yes, sir.
Down with Ulfric.
Down with Ulfric. I'm easily politically motivated. I thoughts? Welcome on in. Yeah, I'm easily politically swayed. Sure. Oh, look at the little chick. Oh, fucking. Come here. I'll beat your ass. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I fucking decked the fucker. Come here. Hello? Where'd the chicken go? Where'd I chuck that fucker? Where'd I chuck the fucker? Hey, Hilda. Hello?
Can I help you?
You saw a dragon?
And I tell you, I saw a dragon.
I believe you.
I never would have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own
Thank you.
eyes.
Who's the asshole we talked to? Who the fuck are you?
Ain't every day we get visitors in Riverwood. You looking for a new blade?
A dragon attacked Helgen and destroyed it.
What? A dragon? In Helgen? That explains what I saw earlier. Flying down the valley from the south. I was hoping I was wrong about what I thought it was.
Much better than Isopod Mayor. We love Isopod Mayor. I love Isopod Mayor. I love Isopod Mayor. You guys want my jacket on? Hey, check this. Did I ever show you this? I can do this shot. Yeah, we can do that. That's cool. The dragon flew off. You must have seen it.
A dragon. The Jarl. We need to get word to
Yeah, I'll go to Whiterun.
When you get to Whiterun, just keep going up. When you get
Thank
to
you.
the top of the hill,
I'll see you later. I'm gonna go to. Let's go.
Good day.
We'll be in Whiterun, lickety split, chat. Just give me some time. So we're gonna upgrade our magicka and our stamina, so I can beat the fuck out of people. Wait, that's harvestable. Yeah, give me all of this. Oh my god, yeah, give me all of that. Yeah, me, man. Damn. Yeah, running's fast now because I'm not fucking sleepy. I'm not sleep deprived. Chad, I was slow. Everything was slow because I was sleepy. I was a sleepy little gal. I was sleepy. I think the walk to Whiterun is fairly safe, right? Whiteruns, the guards have to do good at Whiterun, you know? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay, let's get ready. Let's get ready. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of these motherfuckers. Oh! Bitch! What the fuck? Hold on, there's a third party. I'm getting third partied. Where the fuck did you come from? Okay, you know, chat, maybe I just use my fist for now. Let's take your heart. Mud crab. Is that a frog? Froggy! 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 Come back! Come back, I'm hurting. Maybe I should have bought some potions, chat. Maybe I should have bought some potions or something. I mean... Crackle. Ooh! Yeah, let's study this spell. That sounds nice. That sounds nice, right? Froggy, come back to me. Okay, let's... I don't want to fast travel too much because I feel like fast... Why did it make... Was that a dark elf fuckboy? Because damn. Let's go buy something. We can buy stuff in here, right? No, that's Hilda's house. No, I don't want to enter Hilda's house. She's gonna get pissed at me. We can buy something here, perhaps. In the Riverwood Trader. I don't know if it uses AI. I hope it doesn't use it.
Overheard, but the Riverwood Trader is still open. Feel free to shop.
You sell spells?
I think I have a few old
Thank you.
spell books
I want to
laying
buy...
about.
Oh, god damn it.
If you want more, you'll have to go to the College of Winterhold.
Dude, this... That sucks. I mean, can I... $138? Dude, I'm broke. I'm broke. What you talking about? I can sell these. I already learned these. I can sell these, I guess, right? I mean, I can sell those, no problem. Anything worth money in my inventory? Let's sell this. Let's sell this. So I can buy a potion. I want to buy some potions. I want to buy this. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll buy some salt while I'm at it. Yeah, let me buy some salt. How much is this? $34? No wonder you're robbed, you fucking scammed artist. You fucking scam. No wonder you're a fucking scam artist. I'm buying the camp. That's a good... I need this camp. I need this camp, though. I need this camp, though. This guy's a fucking scam artist. I'm gonna rob his ass. You better be lucky I'm not a thief. The fuck you selling this for $2 grand? The fuck is wrong? Backpacks. I can use a backpack. Damn. Damn. You're selling the fucking spell book I gave you for fucking $2 grand? I just got fucking pawn stud.
Damn.
I just got fucking pawn stud. The motherfucker said, best I can do is 2 fucking cents. And he sells it for fucking $2 grand. Fuck that guy, dude. Fuck you, dude. Drink a potion, I guess. Fuck it. Why not? And, well, you can look, we got camping supplies. That's good. We can set up a camp. And then we also have, yeah, I guess we'll just drink 2 of these because I'm not gonna heal up fast enough. Might as well, right? Okay. Water's blue. Water's blue. Eat. I'm gonna fucking blow up my brains. I'm gonna blow up my brains. All right. I'm ready to fuck that wolf. I'm ready to fuck that wolf up now. We can get that wolf, right? We'll get the wolf. We'll fuck him up. We'll kill him. We'll beat his ass. Easy. Easy. I love how slow my chat is in the background. This game's really... You can tell this game's really taxing on my PC. Oh, guys, I think I fixed my RAM issue. So now my RAM doesn't actually lag everything, I think. So I'm able to play Monster Hunter later, too. Well, see, the dog ran off. The dog ran off. I mean, the other one did, so maybe he was scared that I beat his friend's ass, right? Damn. Whiterun looks beautiful, Tat. What the hell? I might need more RAM, though, chat. I might need more RAM before I come back to this, because this is, the chat issues that happen to other VTubers, too. That's not happening to me, because I'm capped out on my RAM, but my PC isn't dying. My PC isn't dying. I figured out what it was, chat. I looked up some stuff, and I had some bloat. I had some bloat that I shaved off. I had some bloat that I shaved off, and I mean, it's okay, honestly. Like, as long as my model isn't lagging, and as long as my OBS isn't lagging too bad, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Here, I can even set this to this and this to this. And that could fix it. That could fix it. Let's see. Yeah, see? Awesome. Fixed it mostly. I need more caffeine. I trust you. I trust you. I believe in you, okay? I believe in you. Whatever makes you happy. The journey. Ah, we made it to Whiterun. What do they call it, Whiterun? I never quite gathered that from the lore. What the fuck happened to you? Dude, this dude just got fucking tossed. Hello?
You won't get away from me.
You good, bro? Oh, it's the giant. All right, we can fuck this giant up, right? Let's use the ice beams here. Light work, light work, light work. No reaction. I feel like giants are a little bit more deadly now, right? Oh, it's called the White River. I see. These guys kind of suck. Is he alright? You good? Hey, Farkas.
You look strong. Come to your Vasker and be a companion.
All right. Gotcha.
You handle yourself well. You could make for a decent shield sister.
Okay. I don't know if I want to be a werewolf yet. Yeah, the music makes it good, right? I don't know if I want to be a werewolf yet, right? I've never been a vampire, but I could be a werewolf. I could be a werewolf. I can embrace my... Hi, ventriloquist. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I can embrace my werewolf ways. My fluffy ways. Should I become a werewolf?
By Eastmere, it's true. A jester, funny suit and all. Just north, by the Lorius farm. Fool had a coffin in a cart with a broken wheel. Like to see him laugh his way out of that.
Well, sounds like you've had quite the journey, Uthka. But you were gone
Think you can go blade to blade with me? You'd be dead in 6 seconds.
Calm the fuck down, bitch! You think you can take me on?
And why not? I could beat 100 gold says I knock your hide to the ground.
You're on,
Why don't
bitch.
you come back when you actually have 100 gold.
Oh. Alright. I'll be
sound
back.
like
I forgot
my
I'm
mom.
poor.
Figured I was lying dead in the field somewhere. Is that it?
I forgot I'm poor. My bad. Poor detected. Damn, this place looks different now. What the fuck? Man, Whiterun got some serious upgrades. Oh, I can tan. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, I got... I can put on... Guys, let's get the cave bear. Remember that bear I killed? Oh, let's take some paper, too. Awesome. Wait, hold on. That's awesome. I got drip, chat. I got drip. Oh, hell yeah. Damn. Damn. Why am I stuck in third person? Help. How do I get back to first person? I'm stuck in third person. So damn and so fine. So cheap and so fine.
Halt. City's closed with the dragons about. Official business only.
Stand aside or else.
Or else what? You think you can stand against the entire Whiterun city guard?
I have news about the dragons.
But we'll be keeping an eye
Dragging
on
these nuts across your face. I'm third person. What's funny about Whiterun's origin is like him in a city because everyone wanted to live around the companions. Aww. Aww. Okay.
We'll pay whatever it
Why you got so many fucking trees in here, my dude? What the fuck? I don't think Whiterun needed trees. It's not in a fucking forest. Like, damn. Who the fuck are you people? What the fuck is this? What's up?
Wait, I know you.
You know me? I look familiar.
Wait, I know you. The only mistake was you showing your face. You've committed crimes against Skyrim and her people.
The fuck I do?
It's time to face the Jarl's justice.
The fuck I do? I'm going to prison. I'm going to fucking prison. What did I do? Oh, I killed the fucking chicken. I forgot. Oh, I'm gonna rot in Dragon's Reach. Excuse me. Guards, there's a dead man in my room. Excuse me. Guards, there's... What the fuck happened? Get this motherfucker out of here. He doesn't even have anything on him. Bam! Hit him with the fucking... Wah! Loose, great. Okay. Oh! I think... he was just like that. I didn't do anything. He was dead when I got here. Hello?
They say Helgen got hit by a dragon. One of those horrors comes here. We'll be ready.
Can I go? I'm free to go. I think. Is that what that means? Hey?
Brigands I can handle. But this talk of dragons...
I'm free to go. Thank you. I just got an achievement. Wait, where's my possessions? Where's my possessions?
Committed crimes against Skyrim and her people. What say you in your defense?
Take me to jail. You let me out.
Something until next time. Weren't expecting that, were you? No sign of it.
I hit a chicken. That's all I did is I hit a chicken. I hit a chicken. I hit a fucking chicken. That's all I did. I hit a fucking chicken.
Good to see you.
Faith didn't want me to do it this time. I tempted fate. Holy fuck, that's a big cock. I tempted Faith again. I tried. I wanted to see. Maybe that was my canon event to hit Froggy. 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 Froggy, come here. Froggy, come here. Froggy, come here. Come here, Froggy. There she is. Come here, Froggy. Froggy, I'm getting you. Come here, Froggy. Come here. No, stop running. Froggy, come back. Froggy. Froggy, come back. Froggy. Froggy, no. Froggy, please, I need you, Froggy. I got her. I got her. I got her. I can't take this game seriously with the music and it's slowly drifting away. I can't take it seriously with the music and it's slowly drifting away, chat. I genuinely can't take it seriously. Bitch. Bitch. Okay, why is there so many of you? Back up. Back up. This knife don't do shit. Back up. Back up. Back up. Oh fuck, they're jumping me. They're jumping me. They're jumping me. Hold on, they're jumping me. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna soul suck you. And these guys are like immune to that shit. Let's just use fire. Oh, I'm out of juice. I'm out of juice. Alright, well, in this case, back to using my fist. Bitch! This is so hard to hit. Please. Please. I'll give you money. Anything. Just stop jumping me. I'm going, okay? I'm leaving. I'm going, okay? I'm gone. Oh fuck, I'm hurting. Oh fuck, chat. Wait, I drank the skooma again. Well, let's take a drink, chat. Let's take a drink while we're doing a little bit of a fentanyl real quick. Doing a little bit of a fentanyl. Honestly, not the worst thing to do. Not the worst thing to do. Sometimes you need a little drugs to get a little pep talk. Oh, this feels good. This feels good. I feel awesome. I feel like $1,000,000, chat. I don't know where my vape went. Did it fall on the floor? I bet it did. Oh, there it is. Awesome. I was charging it. Oh, yeah. This the shit. This the shit. Did you take the eye patch off or put it on? Because that might not work. Oh, there we go. Okay, awesome. What the fuck was that? Alright, chat. Let's go fuck this wolf up. Let's go fuck this wolf up. Excuse me. Excuse me. God! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! So you think about this voice? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I was really high and I kept going, oh my god! My friends and they got really mad at me. They got really mad at me. It was awesome. Oh my god! Oh my god! I think I know why they call it White Run. Because it looks white from a distance. My fault. My bad. I tripped on something. Alright. And it wasn't skooma. It wasn't skooma. Yeah, Skyrim 6 looks awesome, right? Let's go help out our friends down here this time. Just even talk. Oh my god, this would be awesome. We need to get powered up. We need to get powered up, chat. That's all. We need to get powered up. I love seeing them get like whipped around. I'm gonna save right here. Chat, should I become a werewolf? Damn. Yo, beat his ass. Beat his ass. Yo, big dog, look the other way. Look the other way. Don't fuck with me. All me. All me. All me.
Look strong. Come to your Vasker and be
Thank
a
you.
companion.
All me, by the way. All me.
Mm-hmm.
Ow! Actually, Blunt Man, my new RAM did not work. If it did, my PC would be running a lot smoother. But the new RAM did not work. So yeah, we're new RAM-less. Ow! Ow! Well, there's the grass and shit. You wanna hold on, I got money now. Fuck, I'll be back out. All right, I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna kick your ass. All right, I got money now. I'm gonna kick your ass. All right. I'll be back. I'll be back, bitch. All right, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. I just need $100. 100 cold bones, and I can kick her ass. Chat. But maybe I can sell off some skooma to this guy.
This one needs something?
What we got for sale? How much would you buy my skooma for? $26? That's a fucking scam.
You know, Rasad, you're a fucking scam artist. You're a fucking scam artist. Fuck you, Rasad. Fuck you.
Ow. 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 Man, I should have been a wolf girl. What the hell? Foxes can't. Ow. 5, 6, 7, and 9. You know, it's just not allowed for me. It's just not allowed for me. I can't allude. No, I'm a fox. I'm a fox. I make demon noises instead. I know I'm hungry. I should eat some meat. Go eat something, chat. We got some roasted meat. There you go. Yummy. Hey, it's coming on through.
Cause trouble in Whiterun and I'll haul you into the Dragon's Reach dungeon myself.
Hey, can I come in? Guys, Whiterun is locked. I genuinely... Oh, I'm gonna wait an hour. Let's wait an hour. Okay, can I come in now?
Clear skies. Perfect weather for travel.
Where's the other motherfucker? Here, we're gonna wait 23 hours. We're gonna wait 23 hours. Wow, guys, the door magically unlocked. Wow, guys, this door magically unlocked, man.
That's incredible. I just don't know what happened.
Oh, I tweak a little bit, join in. That's okay. Everybody tweaks a little bit.
We'll pay whatever
Guys, look at the little cat.
swords for the Imperial soldiers.
Oh my
I
god.
just can't fill an order that size on my own. Why don't you swallow that stubborn pride? And ask your Lord Greymane for
Why the fuck you walk it like that? Okay, I can't talk to any guards. I can't talk to any guards. Just if they say I look familiar, just say, fuck off. Wow, this city really destroys my frame rate. That's awesome. Only on my model though. Only on my model though. And OBS for some reason. It's okay. I might have to post. What are you doing? Why are you walking like this?
Yes. What is it that you want?
Why do you walk like that?
I can't stop now.
I actually advise the Jarl. If there's nothing else, do you get the Jarl has things under control. Teach you to mess with. Come on, let's see.
Oh
what you're
fuck!
made of. I really am busy, so you're tougher than you look. You got me fair and square.
Aye!
Saphir. Wait,
What the fuck? How does my... Hold on, I'm trying to fix my... Set this to high. And set this to normal. I don't think my model's gonna end up working. I don't know. I'm at the memory. I'm memoried out, chat. I'm memoried out, man. I can't give VTube Studio any more memory. It's gonna be laggy. I need more RAM. Yeah, I never ran my RAM. I did fix the issues from it crashing my stuff. But my RAM don't work. I need more. I need more. It just makes shit run like shit now. I wonder if I could... I'm trying to figure out why it's so lagging here, though. This looks pretty, though. I don't know if this feels like Whiterun to me. It's not a CPU issue. I'm gonna say that time and time again. It's not a GPU. It's not a GPU or CPU issue. It is 1 million kabillion bajillion points a RAM issue. Oh no, it's okay. It's just I just tell people that because every time I tell people what my CPU is, or they ask about that, they're like, well, maybe it's your GPU or CPU, and I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It looks pretty in here. I might switch games though. The game runs good, yeah. I might switch games though, cause I think it's a good little pausing point.
What would you have me do then? Nothing?
You know what I'm saying? Let's save right here.
This is
Look
no
at that.
time for rash action.
Look at that.
I just think we need more information before we...
I do want to play something else. Like I said, I'm really tired. I almost didn't stream today, guys. Do you guys know that? Excuse me. Excuse me. Comfy. I don't know what I'm gonna do though. I'm a little bit tired today. Am I gonna start run? No. No brainworms. I didn't want to stream today. Well, not that I didn't want to stream today. I was just tired. I was like, I almost didn't think I was gonna stream today. I don't know what I'm gonna do though. No, I don't want to. That's 3 hours. It's way too short of a stream. Oh no. Yeah, no, I'm still hungover. I'm drowsing a little bit. I was late too because I had to fix a bunch of shit too. No, I don't want to go get rest. No, you guys are so sweet. No rest. Drink water, go. Are you guys sure? Are you guys sure? I'm a little tired. I am a little tired and exhausted. I am a little tired and exhausted today. I don't know. This Skyrim's a lot of fun. I definitely want to continue that though. Were you streamed 14 hours last time? You good? I do have a long week. I am streaming. Well, I don't know if I should take a day off. That's the thing. I'm supposed to stream today. I have a collab today. And it's community night. And then I have a thing Wednesday. And then there might be something on like Thursday. And then I'm gonna be in Sirens on Friday. And then I have Blockworth on Saturday. And then I have a thing on Sunday. It's a busy week. It's a busy week. It's a busy week. Are you guys sure? I don't know if I should take Tuesday off and not stream because it's a repo collab, but maybe I should stream it. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Are you guys sure? Is that okay? I feel bad. It's only been 3 hours. Is that okay? I fixed a lot of stuff today too. It was not a non-productive day for me. They tell you guys my model got deleted. I had to fix my model, and then Val gave me the updated one. You guys want to see a difference? Look at my neck. Okay, look at my neck. I'm gonna show you guys something. Okay, I'm gonna switch models. Now look at this neck. What do you guys see? What do you guys see? I'm gonna show you something now. Okay. This is what I never told you guys about. But basically, you see my neck on this model? This is my old model. I had giraffe neck syndrome and no one said anything because of my hoodie. You never noticed how long my other neck was. So this is the fixed model. That was fixed. There's some like better physics and stuff. Just a lot of small stuff. Bell's still working on things though. It's just a small update. They also fixed the hood. The hood has an I have the hood off. It does that when it's off. It also has an inside now, so it doesn't look like my head's floating. Look, I can actually see inside of it. It is better. It is better. And the mouth tracking's better. And when I use these emotes now, my mouth gets forced into a shape because they requested that, so I can do like, chat is so mean to me. I can do that now too.
Anyways. You guys are so nice. Are you guys sure? Okay. Are you guys gonna be okay with 3 hours today? Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm not sure if I'm gonna stream today though, when I go to bed, okay? I might take a day off though, cause I don't stream a full week, cause you guys might get mad at me. But we'll see. Is that okay? You guys are really? You guys okay? Are you guys are positive, right? You guys are positive. Go to bed and relax. Yeah. Are you guys sure? Okay. Okay. Are you guys sure? 100%. 1,000,000% sure. Good. Okay. Oh my god, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for going to bed. New Bert. New Bert. New Bert. Drink water. Go eat. I will drink some water. Go to eat. I had a long day the other day. It was a lot of fun. Oh yes. Fries in the bag, Bert. Okay. I'm good. Okay. I'm just asking. I was worried about taking short days like these because I just worry, like, I don't know. I get like this, like, it's an irrational fear, but I always worry like everyone's gonna run away, and they're like, oh, May doesn't give us enough content and stuff like that. I'm like, shit. That's what runs through my brain. That's what runs through my brain. Hell? Yeah. What the hell was that? Wasn't that? You guys hear that? Maybe I'm crazy. You seen the quiet stream? Do I stream a lot? I always think I don't stream enough, you know? I always think I don't stream enough. I don't know why I'm like that. I don't know why I'm like that, but if you guys are sure, I can take it easy. Take it easy. You did 24 hours? I don't know. I didn't stream that much this month. Compared to last month, I only streamed like 120 hours this month. This is really I didn't streaming. Fuck. Fuck. What do I raid? I'll make a poll. Mako, we raided Siren recently. Mako Fukusame. When we raided recently. I'm one mouse. Glimmy. And who else is on? That is on my Sushi dog. Oh, actually, when was the last time I ate sushi? I raided Mousy recently. I'm gonna replace Mousy with Noah Noel, my small little angel friend. And you know what? I'll put Barrel on the list too. Because I haven't raided Barrel in a long time. Guys, you know what's fucked up? My friends Noah and Barrel both lost their jobs. They're good people. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. They're all good though. So I was just thinking about that. I'm like, how the fuck that happened? They start streaming that shit crazy. You know, but okay, so what were you on, okay? I was just thinking about that, like, what the fuck? Damn, that's crazy how that happens like that. I told them, I said, you know, when you guys are looking for jobs, you guys will do more streams. Because streaming, listen, I'll say it. It's a nice side income to have. Barrel's awesome. Barrel's a good friend of mine. I've known Barrel and Noah for like 12 years, you guys. 12 years.
Everyone, just dropping in real quick. Sorry I can't be here as often as usual.
Good to see you.
Still busy AF with work. And also something major came up, which I will update you all very soon.
Thank you.
Much love. Kit's heart, Kit's tails.
I hope you're taking care of yourself. Okay, it's always good to see you. I'm doing a short stream today. Chat convinced me to. I almost wanted to tough it out, but I'm feeling pretty exhausted yesterday from our drink-a-thon. I drink a lot, chat. I think I lost count of how much I drank. I woke up and I'm like, oh, there's 9 twisted tea cans on my desk. I was drunk. Could you guys tell how I don't drink a lot either? I don't, you know, but okay, as long as if you guys are okay with taking a Switch stream, I don't mind. I don't know, I like hanging out with you guys. I don't want to leave. And it's weird being a streamer. I get so happy thinking about it, but I have so many nice people to talk to all the time. It's weird, you know? It's just like I look at chat and I see you guys. I'm like, what the heck? There's so many nice people here. I'm like, why do I deserve this? It's so many nice fucking people in my life, man. Streaming's awesome. And I'll talk to you guys in the Discord. Yeah, I probably should rest a little bit. I probably need a little bit of rest. I don't know. I don't want to leave either. But it probably would be nice to rest up a little bit. Guys, you're right. I probably should rest. I almost didn't want to stream today because I was like tired and stuff. But I want to do a little bit at least. Yeah, I might stream tomorrow or today technically, but I'm unsure. I'm unsure. No, don't give me any money. You guys give me too much money. Let's eat sushi. Sushi dog. I love this dog. Kit's. We'll do Kit's heart. Or Kit's pat. We'll do Kit's pat. I love this. I love dog. I love sushi dog. I love you guys. Okay, I'm sorry for the short stream. I said it's okay. If you guys are okay with that, I'm okay with it, okay? As long as you guys are okay, though. I don't like doing a short stream. Bye. It's okay. I need a wrestling voice anyways. My vocal coach has been getting mad at me. She said, I don't want you getting vocal polyps in your throat again. And I'll be like, okay, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'll be good. She's like, you're doing so nice. You're doing so nice. Don't hurt your throat. Don't hurt your throat. And I said, okay. She's so mean to me. She's like, you're yelling again, aren't you? And I said, how'd you know? And she said, I can tell. Dude, she looks at my throat, see? And she sees that shit. I love you guys, okay? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe today. Technically today. Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'll stream. I don't know. I have a full week full of fucking streams, so there's a lot of streams. Okay? Bye, Tat. Have fun with sushi. I don't want to go, but bye. I love you guys. Take a fucking break.